Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan with limited time. Let's get into it.
Jock! Nerds! Jock! Nerds! Jock! Nerds!
Jock, nerd, jock, nerd.
Jock!
It is Nerd Jock with EJ,
What's going on, guys?
live from a rent-a-car in Wisconsin.
All the way in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It's Spring Lake Inn in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin.
And man, oh man, I love your new wig. Holy
I know, man. It's
moly.
getting so long. I'm afraid to cut it because I have like a horn growing right here.
You still got the
Where our
horn?
spacious cyst is.
Can
I'm
I?
afraid to go to the doctor because of the whole COVID thing to get it removed.
No, it's fine. Let me pay to have your cyst removed, and then Tom will pay for you to get a sensible haircut.
It's interesting because your bit has always had the vibe of live from a rent-a-car in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But now you're bringing it to us in reality.
Now it's reality.
This is what we wanted.
Yeah. So why are you live?
Who would have known that you look better from a rent-a-car in Wisconsin than you've ever looked
Been in
live,
my office.
live from the mailroom? I mean, you call it an office. I mean, that's the janitor's closet, as Tom calls it.
So why are you live from a rent-a-car in Wisconsin?
My mother owns a cabin right on the Mississippi in Wisconsin. So that's where I'm at right now. And she also owns a farm that's up the road from it as well.
Oh, let me visit the farm.
Oh, definitely. If you want, it's like 200 acres. It's huge. Bunch of hills. There's a spring down in one of the culvers.
Great place to bury a body.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It turns.
Zombie apocalypse. This is where I'm going.
Yeah.
I feel like having and owning 200 acres is awesome if you're into like four-wheeling or hunting
Yeah.
or like. But if you're not into any of that, then you're just looking out.
Pokemon Go, 200 square acres of fresh, untouched Pokemon.
Are they going to be like? How does that Pokemon Go work? As far as are they everywhere or do they have to be placed?
They're everywhere, and you have to catch them all, Tom.
Yep.
Hold on, but
Great
like,
segment. We'll see you next week.
if you just walk through an abandoned forest,
Sorry.
like anywhere, you'll find Pokemon because the program is just gonna.
Yeah, if you put an
Generate
incense
it.
on, you can. Yeah.
Okay.
Put an incense on. Pokemon like incense?
Yeah, like the incense attracts Pokemon. There's like if you put it on now, there's one will spawn every minute
Oh, God.
for an hour.
Okay. It doesn't matter where you're
Like
going.
Nag Champa incense?
No, it's more like you could do incense or you could do like lures on the Pokestops.
Oh God. Let's start with sports. I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
take it
I need to
anymore.
watch
I can't
the
take
Pokemon.
it.
Sports are back, baby.
Yeah. Give us some
I'll
sports.
go the complete opposite way then. Have you guys heard about Lou Williams from the Clippers? What happened with him?
No.
Okay, he left the NBA bubble to go to a funeral in Atlanta, and before he came back, he went to a strip club called Magic City Strip Club because it's the best takeout food, and he has a wings spice named after him. So he has to spend an extra 10 days outside of quarantine because he went to a strip club.
Ah.
Yeah, but he says he was going there just because
the
he,
wings.
get his wings.
Okay.
he likes the wings.
Just for the
which-
takeout.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That was his excuse.
Now, there were other commentators that are familiar with said place, and they said the wings are pretty damn good. I watched a lot of Sports Center or people talking. I watched the pundits in preparation for EJ, and I will tell you that multiple sources from Atlanta, and you know I love Atlanta, my Go Falcons, they say that it's worth stopping. In fact, I talked to my wife about this, who loves chicken wings, and Andrea said she'd be down to roll through
Yeah.
Magic City Strip Club for some wings.
Well, did he go inside or did he get him to
He
go?
went inside.
Okay.
No, he
Well-
got him
He
to
went
go.
inside. There's pictures of him with rappers on Instagram, and then they were real quickly deleted.
Wow, these ladies are
Oh, yeah.
talented.
Yeah, Sam, you'd go
I'm
with
on their
me.
website.
Yeah, I know you'd go with me.
Yeah.
Music's going to be better. You know that. It's not going to be any damn hair
a lot
metal
of
garbage.
Acrobatics going on.
Oh,
here.
yeah. They do the flips and the swirly doos.
Man, there's okay.
And they got good wings.
There's so
Look at this menu real quick.
there's so many variables now because now you got all these players, and of course And he's not the only guy. He's just that one guy who got caught.
Yeah.
Like other guys are
Did
going
someone
out.
narc on him?
Oh, well, there's a lot. Well, we reported this, last week? It was old, what's his name? The
Oh,
narc.
yeah.
Yeah. What, Tony Parker?
Chris
Or
Paul,
Chris
yeah.
Paul, or whom? I don't know any basketball players. I'm just yelling names.
So
Could be Muggsy Bogues for all I know.
you've got young 20-year-old millionaires, and that by all accounts,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they figure that they're not scared of actually getting COVID. You know what I'm saying?
They don't believe it.
So not
And
even
they're
that-
dumb da dum dum dum.
well, not even that they don't believe it, but they're just like, I'm young, healthy, whatever. I'm fine. And so, and then
It's as real as AIDS when you're young, right?
but they they think like that. They're entitled because they're millionaires. I know that this is supposed to be a business because this is, but these guys are going to go out and do these things, and the ones that get caught, they're going to be, in the quarantine for a long time is going to affect their team. Like
Christine in our Twitch
Oh, it's a
chat
mess.
room, Christine says they can get wings in the bubble. They need to stop being so damn spoiled. Christine, they're not
true.
Magic City Strip Club wings.
also,
Not all wings are good wings.
That's true.
I'll support that. I've had some garbage chicken wings.
Also, you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna try to get away with things. You're gonna get caught.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a mess for
It's
a while.
going to be a
Yeah.
mess for a while. If you're going to get wings, just
The one meme I saw was
He wants to go.
the T words over title, so he's going to strip clubs instead of trying to win title for the Clippers, because he was the sixth man for like 2 years straight. I think he is.
It's hard for these players because in their mind they're like, I'll go to the strip club and I'll still play basketball. It'll be fine, but it's not about that. Is it? They want to
Wait,
go to the strip club.
The elite
It's
think they can
selfish.
do what they want? What?
yeah.
Well, but a lot of people though, and I'm kind of that way too. It's like
They're
when
stars.
it's like when you go on a diet, you have to apply the same type. Like nobody likes to be told what they can and can't do. You know what I mean? Like you, even if you don't want to do it, you like to feel like as an American or whatever
in
you want.
control.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
you can do whatever you want to do. Like when your doctor says you can't eat that anymore. I mean, a lot of people have a very tough time taking that advice because they don't like being told what to do.
Or they think that it's being too precautious. They're like, what does it matter? I'll go to the strip club. I get tested before the game
mean,
anyway.
Strip club's probably not the best place to go.
Yeah, but I'm saying
Yeah.
that's what they're thinking, and they're.
I don't even like having to go to Publix.
Yeah.
You're young and horny. You're selfish. You're like, whatever.
Yeah.
What's it matter? And they're like, I'm gonna get tested before an hour before I play anyway. So
Yeah.
if I got it, then
What does it matter?
Yeah,
but-
but why take the chance?
Because
Because you're
it-
not thinking about it.
in
You
their
think you're immune.
Yes.
well, no, in their mind, they'll be fine. They're like, whatever. Like I went to the strip club before this happened. I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? They justify wanting to go to the strip club, but I could totally understand it, and I don't think. How do you stop anybody? Between like
Oh, you
putting
just
security
give them
on the door.
consequences, right? Like, okay,
Yeah.
well, you don't get to play.
Right.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
really all you can do.
Yeah, he will. We'll see what happens.
It
right?
turns out consequences don't necessarily stop bad actions.
Right.
Yeah. It never happens, right?
Right.
because the consequences
We
are
have
never.
We
they're
have
never-
jail time. It's still crime.
but they're not severe enough. Like I'm
Yeah.
sure if they put the mandate down, hey, if you leave the bubble, you're instantly fired from the team, and your contract is null and void. Then maybe you got a different story.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if it's just
The,
hey,
the owners would never do that because they're like,
No.
too good.
of course not. And there's your answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it goes back to mess.
Yeah,
Just a
giant mess. What else you got?
Well, we'll talk about that old story from the Bellagio. Remember when they posted those bets that were after the post time?
Yes.
Yeah. I heard about this.
Yeah, they voided all those bets.
Yeah.
So they got one guy that made all that money. He's not going to get the money now.
I knew that was happening. Like when the story came out that they were gonna give him the option of like taking the money and never being allowed to bet again and like that, then I was like, that's kind of generous from the casinos, because they don't need to pay this
No.
off. They can go and say that it was a
Sure.
it was
It was an anomaly, and you got to.
the mistake in the program, whatever, but I'm sure those players are going to go to the gaming commission and try to fight it, which is not that good for casinos because
No,
the gaming commission sides with players most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah. It's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. Let's
But
move on.
yeah, and it shows you. Here's the thing. That's what's so frustrating about gambling is that if if you ever really get good at it, they're gonna stop
Yeah,
taking
you're
your
done.
bets. Like you can only
Well, that's
get
when you win. You move on to a new hobby,
yeah,
right?
yeah. You spend your life trying to find an edge and make money, and then you finally get to 60% or 55%, and they stop letting you bet.
Yeah.
Now, not all of them will do it, but you know they can refuse your bets at any time and just and really not pay you if they think you're cheating or whatever. Anyway.
Correct. What else you got?
The other thing I got is the Marlins, like 11 players and coaches tested positive for COVID, and it's going to shut down the Marlins team, it looks like, for the baseball with only 4 days old into the season.
Yeah, Andrea told me that. We have been watching a ton of baseball in the Dennis household. I'm kind of enjoying it. It's kind of fun.
It's fun.
I've been going back and forth between that and the MLS's back tournament, and they play at the same time, which is really, really fun. So you can just you can dance back and forth between and just do sports all night if you want to.
Yeah, it's weird to see where they decide to wear masks. Like sometimes they'll wear it while they're at the plate next to the catcher and the umpire, and sometimes they won't wear it at the plate, but they'll wear it while they're running the bases. It's weird.
Andrea and I were laughing because
No one knows.
a lot of them wear
them.
Like the third base coach or somebody will wear a mask, but then he'll still cover his mouth when he's or his hands when he's doing signals and they cover their mouth when they're doing stuff. It's like you don't need to do that, dude. You got a mask.
It's
on.
muscle memory.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
they're all in the
Yeah.
But it's fun. We were watching it. We were laughing because a couple guys hit home runs and they had the cardboard cutouts out there.
Yeah.
And they're just like beaming these cardboard cutouts. They're falling over. I'm like, yeah, get them. So, yeah, we were having a lot of fun watching it. It's good.
So now, do you know any of the logistics as far as so they forfeit the games, or are they playing with subs?
I think that's what they're going to do. They have a bigger pool of players to pull from, so they'll pull some of the guys from their minor leagues real fast and put them on the team that have been in quarantine.
They've already postponed some games, though, right?
Yeah. Like I think the Yankees and the Red Sox have both postponed some
That
games
sucks.
because the testers didn't even show up.
This could be a hell of a good, if you're Johnny minor league, right? And I mean, you could show up. And you could go in there, and if you get on a hot streak, or maybe this is your
luck,
time, and
you hit a home run, some of it's luck. And
what
then,
if it's like a Brady scenario? You get in there and you get a rhythm, and you actually play okay. You could end up dancing yourself into a good contract, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, and Drew Bledsoe's gone.
right.
What's interesting, and this plays into the NFL too. Like now they've no training camps really. And then no
preseason. That was the other story I had.
So with the no preseason, this is like a tremendous hindrance to rookies because preseason, and undrafted
or the guys that are on the bubble of the roster.
Yeah,
gives you a taste.
But also, if you think about it, a tremendous opportunity just because I'm sure the NFL is going to have positive COVID cases, and then they're going to have to quarantine a certain amount of starters, and then bring up practice squad people to fill in the place. So you have now you can't make your impression during preseason, but this whole season you could play at any time based on who gets COVID, right?
Yeah. Plus, a lot of players are opting out because they don't think the risk is worth it. I think it was one of the linemen from the Patriots opted out of his contract because he was not worth the risk, he said.
Yeah, I saw that. And some people have family with immune deficiencies and things, and
I've heard a couple of those instances as well.
Yeah, so there's there's players that are weighing that risk and stuff, but for the most part, it looks like NFL's happening, and they're going to push forward, but who knows how many times they're going to have to quarantine players. I'm telling you, man, it's this is ripe for some sort of gambling movie of people getting into the testing centers and paying off those people to let the gamblers know first who's tested positive, because it's such a huge edge. Imagine your whole offensive line gets tested positive. They're all together, and you find that out. You bet heavy.
Well, then you hide that, though, if you're the team. Now, hold on. I'm not saying you hide it in order to get other people infected. But just like you would if Tom Brady had the flu, you ain't going to say anything until, right before they blow the whistle, and then, somebody else walks out on the field as the backup, right?
Yeah,
you want to
yeah.
keep that
or you
hidden.
get false positive.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
yeah.
you should
or
fall-
make a false positive.
I would
you get people
false-
say, "Hey, you're positive. You can't play."
I would false positive my whole entire team, everybody, and then
How
right
do-
before game day walk out. Nah, they were negative. We lied to you.
Psych.
So this
Take
is
it. Take that.
EJ. So this is a pretty interesting topic. So teams have to report their injury status. I think it's like, what does it come out Thursday or Friday or something for the games that weekend?
Yeah,
but
the
there-
injury report. Yeah,
there's like a
Bill
dead.
Belichick's a master of putting everyone on it.
Oh yeah. Like Tom Brady's been on like the probable injury report his entire career or whatever. But like
Every week last year when I had him.
the rules state that they have to state at a certain time like
Right.
the actual information, or
Correct.
they could be fined or whatever. Does that COVID like, or I wonder how?
I don't know.
Because
They'll have to add it in, I'm sure.
because I think the COVID tests are happening like a couple hours before the game, and they test everybody, and then they go out. So then. When do you find out who?
That's a great question.
I mean, we probably don't even know, right?
I think it comes down to like the players' agreement that they signed just a couple weeks ago to figure out if they were going to play or not. So I don't know the ins and outs of the collective bargaining agreement, but that has to be in there somewhere in the literature or whatever.
We'll look into it today so we can
Yeah.
possibly update it. But yeah, that's interesting to think that you could use that information. That is your edge, right?
So when do we know as fans what players are playing? Like how many hours before the game do we know? Like right before the game, like oh god, these players tested positive, they will not play. Like,
Great question.
We'll find out, I guess.
Yeah. I'm sure. It's
Yeah, we're gonna have to
out
look
there,
into
yeah,
that.
But anyway,
Because it happened in MLS too,
Yeah.
when you had entire teams, you'd like go in middle of the week and they'd be like, oh, well, they're going home because they tested positive. I'm like, well, when did that happen?
yeah. Like when did?
Yeah.
So does the team know first? For sure the team knows, but then immediately the press knows.
I don't know if they do that because we've learned the hard way that whenever you let the dum-dums, right, know first, you got to let I would imagine that it goes doctors to then organization. So
League
let's,
office probably.
League office, yeah.
league office would be first, and then they disseminate the information from there.
To the
Because
player,
you don't
yeah.
want, like, back in the day, Mr. Twitter, Roddy White on the Atlanta Falcons, you don't want to let that guy know he tested positive.
yeah,
He'd
he-
be tweeting it crazy.
yeah,
Then he'd throw racial slurs in there. Then he's
COVID.
starting a war.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you don't want that.
But man, then you got some intern in the league office calling me saying, "Hey, Lamar Jackson got COVID," and then I'm
yeah. Then you're bent crazy.
Yeah. Then a bookie sawing my feet off because I'm robbing him. Anyway,
Is that it? We want to go to Nerd? We got limited time for Nerd. You got about a couple minutes.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's go to. Have you? Okay, Tom, do you know who Ray Park is?
Lincoln Park, what?
Yeah, I know who Lincoln Park is.
Yeah.
Only my favorite band behind Hoobastank.
You broke up a bit there, EJ.
Uh-oh.
We didn't hear
Okay,
the
there you go.
question.
Tom, do you know who Ray Park is?
Ray Parker Jr. Yes, he wrote the Ghostbusters song.
yeah. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
No, Ray Park.
If there's something strange, calling in from Wisconsin, who you gonna call? Doofy haircuts.
I don't know who that
But
is.
Tom, do you know who Ray Park is?
No, I don't.
Okay.
You know I
He's the guy
don't.
that played Darth Maul and Toad from X-Men.
Garth? Who is Garth Maul?
Who's Toad?
Darth.
Oh, I thought you.
Toad from X-Men.
I thought you.
He's the
I
guy
thought
with
I.
the long tongue.
I thought I
know
missed
Toad.
one.
Acid.
I thought you said Garth Maul. I'm like,
He's the country singer.
He also played Snake Eyes in G.I. Joe.
oh, all right.
Okay.
And G.I. Joe, yeah.
So what
Well,
about him?
on his Instagram, he put up a not safe for work BJ video,
What?
and they're trying to figure out what went wrong, whether he got hacked or
Easy,
if
Garth.
it was,
Was
like
it
revenge porn or
His or it was a random
it was
person?
supposedly his wife and him, but there's also stories that it might be the kid that was playing Boba Fett in the.
Oh,
the
come
prequels
on.
What kind of
also.
Star Wars lore is
Hold on.
this?
Look it up.
He
Hold on.
had-
I
wanna
don't
see
want to
this.
see Garth
how's
Maul's BJ video. I
how's
don't
his
wanna see
Toad?
that.
Why'd you say-
I don't want to see his Toad.
Why'd you say not safe for work? That's a weird thing to say before. Like,
Yeah, is there any BJ video that's safer? I mean, I don't know where you work, EJ, but if I put that on here, even in this liberal, way that we run things here, I have a feeling Sam's going to pull Tom aside and
what-
ask me to stop playing my safe for work BJ video.
But it was like it has a bunch of fans like, what's going on? Was he hacked? Was it revenge porn, which supposedly his wife came forward and said it wasn't revenge porn. So that's the positive thing, I guess, about it. I think he was just drunk Instagramming, maybe.
Oh my God,
So,
what an idiot.
how do you accidentally put up your own sex tape on
sorry.
Instagram?
Man.
Like that
Sounds like something you'd do, actually.
no, that
Because you're
don't-
kind of fumbly with social media.
Hold on, but like there's I mean, it's not like you butt,
I'm sorry?
some people butt
Don't talk
Instagram
about
stuff,
my butt.
like or like
Oh, accidentally post.
yeah, like post stuff, but but the video. Okay, so all right,
Here's a screenshot of it. Let me get EJ out of the way. I guess he's...
all right.
That looks a little bit like Carl Tully.
Yeah.
It does.
And he's...
It looks like Carl Tully on hydroxycut.
you know what? I can't find it. But anyway, we got to go to break. We got to go.
Oh, okay. So all right. Should we go to break
Yeah.
and then come back with more nerd, or is this done? Or
I don't know. How many more nerds you got?
I got like 3 more.
All right, just rock it through them. Yeah, let's get it done.
Go Fest was this weekend. I had a great time doing it. I caught a bunch of shinies.
I forgot to tell you.
The prequel is coming out.
I didn't get your thing. It's on back order.
It's on back order.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to shake my phone the whole way up here. I got like 20 miles just shaking my phone on the 20-hour trip.
Send me
when I was
another
going
link. Send
all the
me
way up
another
here.
link today. I am going to order it, but you got to send me a better link.
Okay, I'll find a better link.
All right.
But yeah, Go Fest was this weekend. It was fun. I went to Universal and SeaWorld and played, which was fun. Wearing a mask. Seth didn't come with me because he stood me up.
Well, I mean, it's...
yeah. He's got.
He doesn't even want to do... He doesn't even want to be around us, let alone you. So.
Yeah. Also, he's got a 22-year-old girlfriend,
Yeah.
and he just pump crazy.
Yeah, I know what he does. He smokes marijuana, pump crazy, karate.
That Squirtle.
It sounds like an awesome life.
It
actually.
does. Like,
Except for the seeds.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Too many seeds.
if he just used drugs to keep that
Yeah.
body instead of the working out and the seeds, they're way better.
Yeah, I also don't want to ever have that many MRIs.
No, yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, being crazy that hinders it.
Yeah, even I have less
yeah.
MRIs than him. And I have a lot of MRIs.
Yeah.
All right, what else you got?
Well, the other thing I got is the Witcher prequel got approved for Netflix
Yeah.
called Blood Origin, which I'm looking forward to that. Which they haven't even finished filming season 2 all the way because
know.
of the COVID.
I think it's weird that they're doing that, but hey, I mean, green light, more cool stuff. I'm okay with that.
I wonder if certain
Yeah.
shows are more advantageous during these situations than others. For instance, like there's probably a lot of other productions that shut down. They probably can't come back for a long time because there's like too many people. But like maybe Witcher because of the
Yeah.
size, and maybe they're filming outside or something. You know what I'm saying? Like
The one that I thought they'd
Series
be
of-
able to control the most, to me, was Mandalorian, because they use that technology with those huge screens to make the universe.
yeah.
So that, to me, if you have some warehouses and some doctors that can test and people are staying in the bubble, I think you could Mandalorian your face off if you wanted to, right? Because they're going to make all those backgrounds look crazy.
yeah, and then editors are all separate.
Like
and
CG,
yeah.
But I think the ones that are really going to hurt are going to be your less technological shows. Like a show like my wife likes, like that Sweet Magnolias, which is really just a relationship show.
Yeah,
How do you
yeah.
even film that when people can't like get close to each other and you have tons of extras? And
Well, maybe instant testing day of. Everybody tests when they come in to work, and then they
one person could shut the entire thing down, right?
Right, well, I guess
Yeah.
if you have one person positive, but the rest were negative, then you go. I don't know what It's a big pain in the ass.
It's
My
a mess.
God,
It's a mess.
what a
I
pain!
say just,
Okay, the last thing I got is Halloween Horror Nights got canceled, which is kind of sad. But there's no way you could do it safely, so I understand that.
you could
Yeah.
let one person in at a time.
Well, in
For
Japan,
20
I don't,
years.
I'm not sure if it's I don't think it is Universal, but I'll have to look. In Japan, they're doing a drive-through haunted.
The drive-through
houses,
one, yeah, I saw that with
Yeah.
the zombies.
That's
pretty cool.
That's
garage
called
spaces.
Crystal Burger. I've been to that before. It's,
Also,
it's scary as hell going through that drive-through.
I think I might rather do that.
I mean,
I don't know.
Here's
I'm not into haunted houses.
Somebody's
though.
gonna get hurt.
well, this is coming from
We
me. I was about
drive
to say,
over some zombies.
No, you
So
put
they
them on
get
a
run
track
over.
like in a car wash. It's fine.
I've seen the people accidentally
Yes.
put the
Yeah, you
car in
wouldn't
a
be
gear.
able to have any kind of
No
alcohol
old
beverage.
people because they're always driving through fruit stands.
Yeah.
No old people allowed.
You would have to, take them driving
You know what's
completely out of the
still
equation.
open? We got to get out of here. We got to go bye-bye. But you know what's still open, and they only have one person working?
What?
Still open, and God bless them. I actually think we should take my new leased car down there. Bikini car wash.
Oh, yeah.
Baywash is open,
Baywatch.
and there's
Oh,
one girl.
it's been open.
There's only one girl.
Well, I look every day.
Yeah, I look every day, too. I drive up there just for fun.
When it's closed, I'm a little sad.
I drove by your house like my dad would when his friends were getting their houses done.
Yeah.
He'd drive by and go, I want to see what kind of what they're doing to the house. And I drive by and I look, and then I shoot down your street real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm nosy, but I don't want you to know I'm nosy. And then I go up to Baywash.
Every time I see the Bunchy, I salute it.
I salute the bar. Write that down.
I'm like, Bunchy, salute,
Yeah.
and then keep driving.
You know what? COVID didn't stop. Goddamn Bikini Car Wash
Yeah.
still out there. She's masked up. Her mask is actually bigger than her bottoms.
Yeah.
I believe that.
They wash a lot
EJ, I'm hanging up on you.
of navigators.
Okay,
and
bye.
Bye.
I love you. Bye.
There's a certain
There's a certain car.
car that they're always washing.
And it's a lot of special needs people.
Yeah.
A lot of handicapped people love the Bikini Car Wash.
Yeah.
That's an
There's a-
interesting fact.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. You see a lot of larks out there. A lot of those little scooters. We got to go.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
It is another corporate time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer's here. Butler's in the other room holding things down. How you guys doing? Happy Wednesday. What's new and
Hump
exciting?
day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Remember when Tom used to do that? You know what? Pizza party for
Thank
you,
you.
Sam. Anytime you can bring the shame that early in a show. Ooh, man. What was that, 4 seconds in? 4 seconds in. Shame.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, used to do this comedy thing. I wouldn't even call it comedy. It just
I don't know what you're talking about.
it was a thing where I'd have to go and talk, and there's a sponsor before it, and I just make fun of people, whatever.
Yeah.
And the woman in comedy, and then Steve from Porky's asked me every Wednesday to say it's Hump Day, and I didn't.
Well,
like
people
it.
loved it.
Yeah. I was like, "Come on, Steve. I don't. It's too corny. I don't want to say Hump Day." He's like, "Come on, just say it."
They love it. They love it.
Yeah, it was like, fine.
It's like right now, somewhere in the Midwest, there are people, hey, you heard about that new show, The Masked Singer? You know what I mean? Like, it's like things progress slower
Right.
Yeah.
with simpler people, and you were
Yeah.
Simple Wednesday Tom.
Yeah. That's
Simple,
what they call me.
They called you Simple Hump Day Tom. Here you go, buddy. This is brand new.
Wednesday never meant anything to me. The tunnel's crazy, but Tom's the one who's in charge of me. He pays me monies and tells me to make the funnies on the show. What a stupid show. So what? Tom treats me like I'm Seth. He hasn't paid me in a week. And what a freaking week. It's gonna be real soon. I'm gonna have to boil and eat my feet just to stay alive. The things I'll do to stay alive and eat, I will have to eat my feet. I'll have to eat my feet on the corner with a bear suit on, spinning a sign, just spinning along, sporting a pocket full of change. I guess I should just go get a job and be a fat, productive slob, calling the show and talk about my day. And I will be the one that amuses Tom Van. The one that amuses Tom Van. The one that amuses Tom Van. It's Tom Van. Tom Van.
My God, you're doing a whole song
Oh,
now.
yeah. He'll do the whole song. He'll do it
Apparently, he
all.
didn't get my.
I think he had already recorded 10 before you made
Oh
that
my
announcement.
God! Yeah, he
Yeah.
does them like
Fast.
Oh, yeah,
fast.
yeah. It's amazing. It was, I said, hey, you know what? After I tend to do this to people. After so many years of working for free, hey, I'll just give you some money now.
Yeah.
And then
I saw you pay him $1,000.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, wow.
No. And then
That's a lot of songs.
And then when you offer to pay people, they start really doing work.
It's amazing.
Yeah, they actually work for money?
Can you
What?
believe that?
It's weird.
It's crazy.
I never even thought of it.
I gave this homeless guy like money the other day, and he gave it to me down there. If you know what I mean.
They'll do that.
He gave me the Darth Maul.
Yeah.
He gave me the.
Yeah, you don't
he
have
gave me
to
the Darth Maul.
You don't just have to give them the money.
No.
They should have to do something.
He asked me. He's like, "Hey, can you spare some money?" I said, "If you do that," and he's like, "All right." And I'm like, I was like, "This is great."
He'll do anything.
Yeah.
He's addicted and mentally ill.
Stop! Don't say that phrasing. On the line with us is Josh. Welcome to Weird Garth Maul Wednesday, Josh.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, you're our winner. What is your weird job?
Well, I'm a dental technician, and I make partial dentures.
All right.
Why don't you just go ahead and make the full denture?
Well, some people, they want to hang on to their last two snaggle teeth, and you just got to go around them. They just...
Go around them.
No, my dad had a partial for a
Yeah.
little while after busted his teeth out, and man, that was off-putting. He called it his flipper, and he could, and then eventually he got the implant to replace the one he smashed out.
Yeah.
But man, and that's what you make, like the little flippers.
Well, that's one thing. Flipper is just like a single tooth, just a real small thing. Partial dentures can be the one to almost all your teeth. I mean, people actually hang on to, they'll have two teeth left, and they'll get a partial denture made rather than just pulling them and have a real denture.
Fun fact for those of you that love radio, there's no video funnier than Melissa Fox's tooth falling out while she's talking, and then it rattles on the table, and man, Tom and I laughed at that.
So, Josh.
Oh, God, it's good.
I gotta
Josh,
find that.
Oh, it's good. I'll find it for you.
You brought
Shout
up
out to Melissa.
You brought up a phenomenon that I'm familiar with because I often would laugh at it, and this was back a long time ago when I'd come into contact with a lot of people that had, let's say,
Questionable dental hygiene?
unfortunate teeth.
Poor unfortunate teeth.
Oh, make that
God,
song.
I knew you were going to do that.
Brian might make that song. I'll
we
pay you
want poor-
$25.
we
Oh,
want-
please.
And
Poor
sing it
unfortunate teeth.
as Ursula.
Yes, you have to.
Poor unfortunate teeth. I'll help Mike. I'm going to be at his studio. And, I'll
That's
help.
true.
I will help
You'll
sing
be on
this
Fort
song.
Airwalk soon.
So, Josh, so then I would see these people a lot because they'd come to whatever 7-Eleven I was in hucking Oreo cakesters out of.
People, hucking is an underused word, by the way. Write that down. Plus, people.
No, that's what I think he meant Hawking, but he said
I
Huckin'.
like
It's
hucking.
fine.
I like hucking.
I meant
Flush
what
it
I
out,
said.
flush it out. It's fine.
So,
Huckleberry Tom.
anyway, and then I sometimes I get to know them well enough where I'd ask them, like, hey, you're gonna get something done with your teeth. And then
I like them to smell like a graveyard.
or they'd tell me like, hey, I'm getting implants on the uppers, but like not on the lowers, like because I want to hold on to my.
Wait a minute. Implants. It's another rich man, poor man.
Hold on.
Because some
For
girls
one
get
more
implants
time.
and then some get
Those are expensive. Anyway, what I'm getting at is they'd always tell me I'm gonna keep, I want to keep my last teeth that I have. I don't want to go full like a grandpa with full dentures.
Yeah, why? It's like my wife holding onto her blanket.
Yes, yeah. And then I'm like, why do you want to keep those? They are garbage.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, so what do you think that is? Is the psychology that they at least have some teeth left? Why not just go full?
They're jet black.
Yeah.
It makes no sense because it's way better to have a full denture. It's better for your jaw. Those last two teeth aren't going to do nothing. That partial actually slowly destroys it because you have a metal piece holding it retained in your mouth. So that little piece of metal jiggles around slowly over time and just rots it out, and then you have another rotten tooth.
Is it just people like are embarrassed to have dentures,
I
or
think
like
so, yeah.
it's always been like an old person thing? You
A
put
lot
your
of people
dents-
don't know I have dentures, and I'm completely okay with it.
Uh,
We have really, really very brittle teeth in the dentist household, and right around the age of 19, 20, I had every single one of my teeth fall out while I was sleeping all at one time. I woke up basically with a turtle mouth. There's nothing in there.
It's true. I seen him sneeze them out before.
Yeah. Well, those are...
One time he sneezed them out into the fish tank.
Yeah, I did. The fish ate them.
The fish just chomped them clean.
Chopped them up good. But then I got my denture, and at first I got my dentures in, and I told them, don't cut any lines in them. I want them one big cartoon tooth. But then eventually they convinced me to cut lines in them, and then I had them grout them up. Grout between the lines.
Like my tile. What is it? What are the cost of a pair of dentures nowadays? Like, say I come to you, I already got my teeth out, so I just want...
There you go.
You know...
How much for dentures?
Yeah, I just want a full set of realistic-looking
But big.
dentures.
We want big. We want the XLs.
Yeah, I want some big Buseys if you're going to give them to me.
Yeah, he doesn't want the tiny little dolphin teeth. He wants the big.
They're like implants. You got to go big to notice them.
Absolutely.
So what do they run you there?
Well, actually, what I do, luckily, I don't have to deal with any of the patients. We don't see people. I just work in the lab, so you still have to go to your dentist, and they make all the money. They charge you for a basic cheapo set is about $1,000 for dentures, and we sell that for about $250.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That's a big upcharge.
Yeah.
So when you
Can you make me a set just to have so when I do need them, I can pop them in?
I've made sets for all kinds of people. I've made sets for kids. I've made sets. We tried making a set for a dog. We've made sets for damn near anything.
What do we have that we can make a set of teeth for?
So
For Dory.
Let's make a set of teeth for either one of our fish, Butler's butt, or what can we do?
So I'm curious. So
I'll figure it out.
when you say you get an order in, and they send you like an impression of the person's gums, right?
Yeah, we just get the impression. That's basically all we get, and some instructions on a prescription.
And when you go to put what are the teeth made out of?
Well, they've got some old school. They still consider them more expensive. They're actually made of ceramic, but all the rest are just made out of nylon. Almost everything dental is either made out of titanium. I make my stuff out of chrome cobalt, which is a metal, and nylon. Everything's shot out of nylon, pretty much.
Okay, so
I want all metal teeth. I don't want any nylon teeth because they'll wear down like skateboard wheels.
yeah. You want to be like Jaws from
007. Yeah.
So
Chomping through cables and stuff.
by the way, did he have an enormously strong jaw?
Yeah, no
Because
pocket knife
Just the
needed.
teeth, you would just be like tongue. You was
I'm
just
like, God, these are hard to move.
Just because your teeth are metal doesn't mean you could chomp through a cable.
Also, if you have metal teeth, you can start a fire in the woods.
I know.
Just by you lay on your side and just chomp.
So
Chomp some hay.
So my question is, do you get a picture of the person's face or anything? Or like, is it just everybody gets the standard? Or do you color them different by age?
They try to match your current teeth, right?
Like, I always feel it's weird when like a real old person has bright Buseys.
Yeah, they're almost like purple white.
Yeah. It's like, I assume like a Joe Biden has dentures, right? He's got the big bright
Probably.
Buseys. Yeah. And most people over, what do you think it is? What's the age where you think most people have dentures, Josh?
Full dentures, I would say they start in the mid-50s. Mid-50s is by between that and your 70s is your most common full dentures. Partials, you see partials from anything because it's a cheap version of just getting, instead of a crown or a bridge or an implant, a partial only costs you about $150. It won't cost us. From the dentist, it still really doesn't cost that much, less than $300. And that way you've replaced anything. So yeah, you see everything from 20-year-olds all the way up to your 80s. Some of them still are hanging on to those two snaggle teeth.
I'm sorry. I just came across a video of Joe Biden with his teeth falling out at a debate last year.
Oh, come on. Leave him alone. Yeah, he's fine.
It's fine.
So,
Totally fine.
So, going back to my question, does everybody get the same teeth, or do you change?
I think you change them.
Yeah.
Oh, there's thousands of types of teeth. We have racks that are these little tiny drawers full of little tiny tooth cards that have about 6 teeth on each one. And what you do is you do match what was prior to in there. So sometimes they'll take an impression before they pull your teeth, so you can match what was there. Sometimes they'll send a picture. A lot of time the doctor the dentist has seen enough stuff. He knows he'll just give you the numbers and the shade color, and you don't have to do anything. You just go to the drawer, pull out that number and color, and you're set.
What's the darkest shade color that you guys will arguably go, considering the fact that it's like at some point
What if I want black teeth?
Yeah, at some point you're just making like
Or what
Dark
if
That could be a
brown.
fashion statement.
Yeah, what if I want
Dark
novelty?
brown teeth?
What if
Like
I want
black or
rainbow?
red or yeah.
What if I want rainbow teeth?
Oh, like
or
Tekashi 6ix9ine?
or like purple teeth for Orlando City? Can you make
Right,
any
right.
color?
I want bright yellow corn teeth.
They
Does
call
anybody do that?
They call it the Gibson.
Can you make me a set of horrible Mel Gibson smoking teeth so I can pop them in whenever I want to yell at Andrea and go, my dinner!
Yeah, they've got some pretty dark. I mean, the lowest we probably go is the C3, maybe even a D, but normally we don't even bother. Once it's to that point, they've probably lost all their teeth. And then we put
Give me that D3
Oh, it's bad. Oh, it's
brown
bad.
diarrhea teeth.
Give me them D3 Gibsons. So I can yell at my wife.
My God, are those your teeth? They look like planks from Noah's Ark. Oh my God, they're so dark. Why? Did you just stain those? What is that? A grandfather clock?
Also, it makes sense to me. You know how like
Did you say open sesame? Oh my God, the floor just opened up.
if you get a tan, it makes like the old Mitch Hedberg joke.
Look how much whiter my teeth look.
Like I was gonna get a
Kinda
teeth
got a
whitening, but I got a tan instead,
Yeah.
like Mitch Hedberg. And so your complexion of your face and the brightness of your teeth, there's a correlation
Yeah,
there, right?
yeah.
So if you have a darker skin tone, do you
Lighten up the white of the teeth?
Yeah. Do you take down the brightness of the?
Yeah, bring that down 3 shades. Give me a
Yeah,
B1 on that.
Because you don't want too bright.
bleach white, all of them.
Are you being serious? I know,
Yeah.
Like you don't want to
You'd
give.
be surprised. The majority of your full dentures, that's what they say. Give me the brightest ones they got, because they've been dealing with those old yucky yellows for years. They're like, forget this, I got new teeth. They're ready to show up.
But that's like the guy who goes from total gray hair to jet black. It's like too noticeable. You're like, what is it? You dyed your beard, Fisher.
Leave them alone.
I'm just saying. You want to comb it in slowly. You should. You know what you should. Oh, I got an idea. You know, in motocross goggles, when they get mud on them, they have rip-off film.
You want so you'll never have to brush your teeth again.
So no, you start.
It'll kick your upper lip out.
You start with yellow, like you had, and then every month you rip off another shade, get lighter, so people don't notice.
Progressively.
You can't go from rotten jet black Gibsons to bright
No.
white Buseys.
I got a better idea.
It's too much of a change.
Josh, how about transitions? How about teeth that when you go outside turn brown, but when you're inside bright white?
Oh yeah, they're like my son's nerd glasses.
Yeah, transitions.
So good luck. That sounds pretty cool. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna pull it off.
What about
'cause most
glow
of
in
it's
the dark?
porcelain as well. You stack porcelain on top, and it's all. It's some nasty stuff.
Sam said, how about glow in the dark? And if you came to the studio, could you put a diamond on my tooth? Because I want to do that.
Ooh.
We can definitely diamond it up. And really, if you get any kind of ceramic, like even if it's not technically for dental, we've a lot of our ceramists here, they'll take and do that. So yeah, crazy colors, glow in the dark, anything that you can put
Hold
this regular
on.
ceramic and goes in a kiln.
What did you call those
You
people?
can layer on teeth.
What'd you call those people?
that?
Ceramus? That's my porn name.
Ceramus.
Ceramus. Yeah, and I dress like a knight. And
Josh.
all I do is serve up the D.
I got a question for you. So I've known a lot of people throughout my life that work for companies and then can get a discount because they'll tell me like, hey, my company lets me do my own work after hours. So like there's a dealership.
Pull up out back,
Yeah,
come
yeah.
in the back,
So
and then we'll get you some dentures.
I used to know a mechanic at a dealership that after hours I used to take this old car I had there and he'd work on it because he was allowed to do that and just under the table work kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Dave Matthews Band.
So are you like, let's say I want some dentures and I don't want to go through the doctor to get them, and so I just get the at-home gum mold kit I get on Amazon.
Oh, yeah, because they sell those.
I bet you do. I bet if you
Look up at-home gum mold.
look up at-home denture kit, I bet they sell it. The
Impression
impressions.
kit, yeah.
Yeah, and so
At-home impression kit, they're everywhere.
okay, yeah. So then I get the impression kit,
yeah.
and then I go to like a
Well, let's do this.
I go to a Walmart parking lot. I give you the bag of the impressions.
Again, Etsy has everything you want.
Yeah. And then how much?
Etsy. Oh, Etsy is so Etsy. Really, if you do that, there is so many. I worked for a guy that I didn't even know was under the table selling stuff on dentures. I won't put his name on there because he's out of local, like Lake County. He's here real close, and he sells thousands and thousands of illegal dentures. You send them in through the mail, and he makes them for you.
How is that illegal?
Yeah, it should
You can
be.
do whatever you want.
Got to be licensed.
Oh,
right?
yeah, it's pretty illegal.
Because
Doing dental work, because he'll go over, let's say you have like an abscessed tooth or a broken tooth or something, you go over it, and it'll cause an infection in a hurry because you're covering an open wound.
Look, he's just selling a product.
yeah, it's like vampire teeth in Halloween. It should be just like, hey, if you want to put these in your mouth and have
that's up to you.
Yeah,
I'm just providing you.
You got to sign that form like everybody does for fireworks, where it says you're going to scare the seagulls.
So anyway, back to my grift and dentures, which would be my new my podcast when I'm 80.
God.
But
welcome to Grift and Dentures.
So
Calm volume.
could you make me a set at your work, like after hours?
I do it at work. It's easier to get permission. They're pretty cool here, so I've done it for friends and family and stuff. Help people out. Yeah. We're pretty relaxed about that. It's easier to get permission and do it the right way than it is to risk doing it after work. Because so bare bones, the Tom Van deal. Like I let you come in and watch a show.
We're not doing that right now.
In the future.
Oh,
and,
I'll open the window and you can look through the window.
And then
you have to stand in the grass.
I could even tell you stories while you're making my dentures, whatever you want. What are you going to charge?
How are you going to do that while he's taking the mold of your teeth?
It's going to be hard. How much would you charge me for a set of dentures, full set?
We could work out a merch trade.
Just a real man apron. I get some free teeth.
Yeah.
Don't put the real.
I'm getting paid to do it while I'm doing it. I mean, it ain't like I'm losing anything on here.
Don't wash the apron. All the green will fly out of it.
So, all right, let's finish with this. What do you get paid there, Josh? And is it like a full-time 8-hour shift? Are you just making dentures all day, every day?
Yep, I work sitting in a rolling chair 8 to 10 hours a day, and I'll be cleared. I'll be just shy of 90 this year. So it's pretty good.
You sound young for 90.
Did you have to go to school for this?
31. Sort of. It isn't like it's more like a technical school, but working after you work a certain amount of time. I've been doing it 10 years, so I've been doing it a while. After you put a certain amount of time hands-on, you can get certified, basically school-free. But I've been to like your basic little small niche classes and seminars and tech classes, stuff like that.
Josh, let me ask you this. Do you have a knack for like molding like art and things? Like, are you an artistic guy? Because does it take like someone who has a skill for like molding things and like, what I'm saying?
You gotta have a decent eye, I would imagine.
It was like Busdecker's wife. She can do clay and make plates and stuff. I don't think
she's a potter.
I don't think everybody could do that. Like, I couldn't do that. I'm not artistic. Like,
you are,
but
I was gonna say, surprisingly, mine, I'm like real man style things. I fish, hunt, things like that, and more hands-on stuff. Like I was a welder before I did this, and I weld now with a laser welder. It's almost identical. Everything I do is working with metal, so you kind of need the hands-on and working for what I do. But if you were going to do the ceramics, or I actually do some three-dimensional designing. Actually, before I think about it, that's what I mentioned is your goldsmith. How they do the goldsmith jewelry, I do the exact same process. So I 3D print a plastic, whatever I want, and then cast it just like they do. We used to do it out of wax, and we still do some of the stuff, the old style way that the 3D printers just can't.
I want monster teeth. Can you make me monster teeth?
I can make vampire teeth that actually they're crowns, and they slip over your teeth and kind of like click on, so you don't need any adhesive or anything. Yeah, my wife's got those. She's every year.
They kind of bite people with them?
I want those.
I mean, you can bite with them. They'll probably break, but you can do it.
Compared to,
I don't want them then.
Do you know how much full implants, like, if you don't want to go denture and you want to go full implant, where they stick like
we
a
don't
little
need them now. With everybody wearing masks, you're pretty much out of business now, right?
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
Oh, those implant denture. I mean, if you do an implant denture, which is like a removable denture where it kind of clips in, you have the implants, but you can pull it out and put it in. Those are about $10,000. But if you want a full implant retained, like zirconia denture or a crown, like it's all ceramic, it's all permanent, it doesn't go anywhere. Zirconia, those are $25,000 plus.
Wow, $25,000. Jeez. Wow.
Oh yeah.
That's why people go with the old
partial.
Yeah, or at home mold denture.
Illegal dental.
The old $1,000 like that. That's a big difference. Like, hey, you can stick these in $1,000, or you want them permanent, $25,000.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Have you
Anyway,
ever made a set of teeth that like were rejected because the person didn't like your, your work or something?
Good question.
I mean, we get stuff where they alter stuff. They ask for little adjustments here and there. We have stuff where they die before they get the stuff. We get all kinds of stuff.
Oh, man.
You should get
Well, that's dentures. You're not putting them in young people.
Do you scream, I wasted my time, and punt them in the trash?
I would. I'd throw them in their casket and say, you take these.
Take them to hell.
Jesus,
That's
man.
exactly what I would say.
The wife's crying.
As it's being lowered in.
Who's this guy? Like he was
Cut
making,
the straps.
he was making Bill's dentures.
You ungrateful POS had the audacity to die on me after I carved these teeth for you.
I swiveled in my
It's gonna
chair.
pay no matter what.
Swiveled.
You know how much butt sweat it took for me to carve these teeth for you?
Well, Josh, it sounds like, man, I don't
You're
know.
doing good. It sounds
Yeah.
like you like your job. You're well paid.
Is there a demand for this? I feel like I'm going to tell my sons, like, hey, get into the denture making business. At 31, you could be making 90 grand
Yeah.
in AC and swivel around in a chair.
Yeah, and then spending all your money on crossbows and hunting crap.
You make side money by making dentures for podcasters.
Yeah, you can buy, with that kind of money, you could have a Ford Raptor and all the shotguns you want.
Oh, man, they did get into it. We've hired more people since we've been back open since the shutdown. We only shut down for like a week and a half. It was just like a temporary. But we probably hired 20 people since then. So it is a killer business.
There
Wow.
you go.
I think I'm going to stop podcasting and start
Making teeth?
Yeah.
ceramics.
There's a lot of money in teeth. And then there's no money in some teeth.
Yeah.
It's all or nothing.
Not all money out there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Josh. It was good talking to you, dude.
All right, guys, take it easy.
Hey, make sure you check out the Darth Maul B-Job video on Google.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome back to Corporate Tom and Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producers here, Butler's here. It is time for everybody's favorite segment. Do you know what it is? Let's find out which relationship Samantha's gonna ruin this week.
How dare you?
I'm hungry. I want a hamburger and some french fries, tater tots, or maybe a steak. My wife has got me on a chicken kick, and then I made a vegetarian quesadilla. It was not very good. It didn't have meat in it, so it was not a thriller. That was boring, Danielle!
Who's Porkin'? Brought to you by Porky's Barbecue and Apopka. You want to go by Porky's, their patios.
Oh.
Take it to hell!
Who's Porkin'?
Okay. So this week, it's a good Who's Porking.
No, there's no such thing as a good who's porking.
At least for now.
Oh,
You
excuse
guys,
me. Porkin. I
Porkin.
said porking.
yeah, you know. Demi Lovato.
Oh, I like it. I love Demi Lovato.
She is now engaged
oh,
to her
what?
boyfriend, Max Irich. Not really sure how to pronounce his name. He was in like a High School Musical. He was in Young and the Restless. He was also in one of the worst shows ever, Under the Dome. Not sure if you guys are familiar.
Under the Dome.
Regret every minute of watching that show, and I watched like 4 seasons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she announced on Instagram this past week that she is engaged to her boyfriend. She showed off her ring, which was a custom design ring for over $2 million. They've only been dating a few months.
That's
They
stupid.
actually first started dating when the COVID-19 quarantine started popping off in early March. And they've been quarantining together for these past few months, and now they're coming out of it engaged. Thoughts?
$2 million.
That's a expensive
Ring.
ass ring.
Yeah, that's
That's
stupid.
overkill, right?
They
I mean,
said
it's
it's worth more than $2 million.
It's a good way
Anywhere
to
between
get
2.5 and $5 million.
good way to get your hand chopped off. I mean,
Yeah,
you're not
yeah.
going to wear the real thing, right?
No.
You don't wear that.
You can't.
What do you do with it?
You can't.
You get
Because
a you get a secondary ring made, and you wear a replica ring like
and
royalty
what?
would.
Leave it at your house?
Yeah.
You can ask
Yeah.
Butler about it. I think the
It-
royal
it too-
family does that. I think they got like the royal jewels. I think they've cast multiple versions that are like wearable, and then the real ones are tucked away.
People will kill you for $50,000.
Yes.
Like
She's
no
got
problem.
security.
People will kill
But-
you for
Yeah.
an Xbox or a pair of shoes.
but
It
think-
means that, come on.
But
True.
you also run the risk of remember when Kim Kardashian's family got robbed in Paris when they broke, like they knew,
yeah.
like they flaunted the fact that they had.
Was that the ring bling or whatever it was?
Yeah.
I started watching that movie, but it was terrible, so I never finished it.
So they had millions of dollars in jewelry, and so if you are a professional thief or whatever. Like, I mean, that's easier to steal from Demi Lovato or Kim Kardashian than it is a bank or whatever,
Sure.
So, like, you're like, hey, I want to steal millions of dollars worth of stuff. This place has security cameras and everything. Or this is a reality TV show or a pop star or whatever. Then this, like, maybe have
just as bumbling as anybody else.
one full-time security guard, maybe that's, like it's just easy.
I mean, even just getting close to her through like non-nefarious means would be easier, right? If you had something to offer.
Also, like, Samantha, would you, say Travis was a millionaire, and like, I understand that, the ring is a symbol of like how much, that blah, blah, blah. But it, like, to spend
No, I know what you mean.
multiple millions of dollars on a ring, like, I feel like I would be like, it's almost gross at a point. It's like,
I know
this
people that
ring
spent
is more than most, like, dozens of people would make in their entire lives.
Yeah.
There's like on a ring. It's kind of
like, I knew certain people that like weren't making a lot of like money, and again, none of my business. But then they would say
Splurge
things
on the
to me
ring.
like they'd be like, "Well, this ring, yeah, that was like a $20,000 ring," and I'd be like, "That's the most that I'd heard, like, or if somebody I know, I think would be close to $20K,"
Yeah.
and I was like, "God
Woo.
damn, that's a lot of."
But it's all
Walking around,
perspective,
yes.
right? Because
Yeah,
like
no, it
these
is, you're right.
people, I'm sure to them, they're just like, this is reasonable.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
But
Yeah.
but even well, let's think
It
about
is,
this.
but it isn't, because the practicality of actually wearing it, like Tom says, is like,
I think she'll wear it. There's so many celebrities that have $1 million rings that wear them.
Yeah, maybe. But
Or do
I
you think they have fakes?
a lot of them have
I think
fakes
they
because
probably do.
because
Then
like
what's even the point in buying the $1 million
and that
ring?
brings us back to the square one.
Because I'm
I
sure
agree.
a bunch of people is like, hey, you can't walk around with millions of dollars. Like, someone could easily like rob you at gunpoint.
Don't you think she has personal security with her at all time, especially now after she's been through, rehab and stuff a few times?
Yeah, but
People watching her.
they could kill the personal security
That's-
for millions.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people have killed people for way less money.
Well,
like,
I mean,
people rob banks for less money.
And crazy people do stuff too. I mean, I think you're in a weird way making yourself a little bit of a target, right?
So, okay, but even if you go back
Especially
to
right now, a lot of people are losing their jobs and stuff.
to,
I don't
to,
know.
to the logic of the cost of the ring. So what do they say? Like 3 months salary?
That's what certain people say.
Yeah,
There used to be like an adage.
Yeah,
it's like
okay.
3 months salary.
So let's just
and
go off that. And so now you're saying what's the
max
the
headroom.
Yeah.
For the one that he bought, they said
Yeah.
anywhere between $2.5 and $5 million.
So let's just say, okay,
It's an emerald cut
let's
that
say-
was hand set in platinum and flanked on all sides by smaller trapezoid-shaped diamond designs. And the sources say that the rock comes in well over 10 carats, maybe even as much as 20.
Holy Jesus!
So let's say it's $3 million. So that means that
10 carats is no joke, and 20 carats is ridiculous.
And it was like some highly regarded jeweler in L.A., Peter Marco.
So let's go back to just the basic old school adage, 3 months salary, whatever. That's
Sure.
that's a reasonable thing. And I know it's all subjective. If you're Jeff Bezos,
Yeah.
then you could buy a $1 billion. Nothing matters,
yeah.
you know. So does this guy,
Let's see what his net worth is.
that means he makes $1 million a month, right?
His estimated net worth is only $2 million.
Yeah, like he spent his entire net worth on a ring? That's absurd, right?
That is absurd.
Okay, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, it's too much. Like,
I'm trying to figure this
See,
one
I
out.
was more,
You know-
I was more intrigued with the fact that they've only been dating since quarantine and they're already engaged.
Well, I think the ring plays in here though, because that type of love.
that means that she bought it.
That's
It's
what
possible.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got like Tracy is a big fan.
How much
She's-
is she worth?
She's in
A
our
lot
Twitch
more.
chat room. Yeah, she's doing. Demi's
Yeah.
doing fine. Tracy really likes her.
She can't have a Bobo ring.
I think she has a new album coming out, according to Tracy.
She got a poor husband.
$40 million.
Yeah, she's fine.
She paid for that.
That's what it sounds like.
There's no way he could have. His net worth is not even as much as the ring. No one like. Imagine if I engaged like back then.
Well, you could be
when-
making payments on it, right? Like everybody else would if
Yeah.
you went over to Mayors
Yeah.
and bought yourself a Rolex.
But when I got
And it could have been a thing where, hey, you mentioned that I custom designed this ring for you, and I'll cut you a break
I'll
on
cut you
it.
a break on it.
they will. I mean, I'm sure they cut a break.
Because then you get to say, I designed Demi Lovato's
Yeah,
engagement
but not a
ring.
$5 million
yeah.
break.
Right.
The cost
You
of the
bad businessman.
hard to cut the cost. We talked to David Layer. Like the cost of the jewels have a finite cost, or at least a roundabout. Like, hey, this carat, whatever diamond is worth this much on the market. So I don't.
It also isn't about
design
the worth really either. Like by sitting and talking to David from Goldsmith, and I would urge all of you to do exactly what I did when I sat down for Andrea's ring. You learn really quick that sometimes the biggest and the best and the most expensive it's not what you want. I went for like clarity, what's going to hold up, what's going to look the best with the particular design. I had them design it from the ground up. Man, I didn't even spend 3 months salary.
You know, I bet.
I didn't spend that. I got a nice diamond and I got an amazing ring, but I didn't spend a 3 month salary.
Yeah,
because I didn't have it.
Imagine if you told
I didn't save
but,
it.
But Daniel, imagine if you told me like, hey, I got Andrew a real nice ring. I'm like, oh. Well,
if I showed you her ring, you would be blown away. It's an amazing ring.
I've seen it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you said to me like, I spent $280,000, I'd be like, oh,
you'd be mad at me.
No, I'd be like, that's too much, dude. Don't do that. That's ridiculous.
You never.
know what I'm saying?
Tom is not one to talk out
And
of
that's
turn or
not
give you
Daniel's-
unsolicited advice, but I feel pretty confident you'd be like, you sure you want to do that, bro? Like,
You know,
I know
Right.
you would say that.
It'd be worse than that. Because
Sam would just straight up tell me I'm crazy.
It means
Right?
it means this guy's entire net worth. So it's everything you've accumulated. So it would be like you saying like
$280,000 for a ring makes me sick to my stomach. By the way,
Because it's absurd. So this makes me think either they're over-reporting the value, or that she paid for it.
I think
right?
they might be underreporting it. They said it goes as high as $5 million.
Yeah, but they may have sensationalized it a little bit. We need to talk to David Layer, and like he could, from the picture of
You
the
think
ring,
so?
he could probably
Absolutely.
he could be like, this thing's
yes.
not worth $5 million.
Yeah,
no way there.
absolutely. He could tell you straight up what it's worth. Like a more, let's flag it.
Yeah,
And let's put in
I'm interested.
Let's put in a call, even just an email, because I know he's
send
busy.
him an email of the picture.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
maybe he'll fire an
text
email.
him. Yeah.
Text him, and he'll fire an email or text back, and then we can confirm.
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
think you're right.
Yeah, because so
There's some sensationalism going
yeah,
on here.
there's two things. Either the ring didn't cost that much, and the news is reporting because it's a better story that it's that much, and then maybe the ring is more in the six figures than the like like.
It's a nice ring. I mean, it's big though.
That thing's a gigantic
Dear
mega ring.
God in heaven.
So
Check her Instagram
the
out.
diamond is as big as
Yeah.
a quarter, dude.
okay.
It's an emerald.
It's either they're
Or
over
emerald.
Emerald
Sorry,
cut
emerald cut,
diamond,
yeah.
right? Oh my God.
or he wanted to like ask her to marry him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she said, "Well, I am
Let me
Demi
pick out the
Lovato.
ring,
I
yeah.
let me pick out
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ring." He probably is like, "Well, I can't afford $3 million," but she was like, "I'll
Well,
just."
no,
He
pay
took the chance and proposed on the beach too, which is also. Did we learn nothing from Megan Fox and what's his face? I forgot his name because she already left him from MGK.
Oh yeah.
Brian Austin Green.
Brian Austin Green.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Remember when he dropped the ring in the sand and they couldn't find it? Come on,
It
guys.
actually made me like him
yeah,
more
yeah.
because it sounded like he didn't spend that much money.
I
on
like
the ring.
that guy. I feel bad for
He
him.
comes off good. I've been watching some reports with him and his kids, and he's just doing the
Yeah.
beach life thing. He is keeping it above board. They try to trap him into saying something nasty.
Negative, yeah.
And he will not
He
do
won't.
it.
That's
And
a
it
good
makes
man.
me respect him, yeah.
And
It makes me respect the hell out of him for keeping tight lips and saying, not going to fall for it, guys.
when you're a rich and famous celebrity, you have to have like everything, like your rings, like certain things have to be a certain level, or you're afraid of getting judged by your celebrity and rich friends, right?
So it happens in
if
business,
she-
even around here. There are businessmen that I've talked to before that say there's a certain level of appearances that they must maintain in order to be taken seriously within the circle that they kind of congregate. You know what I mean?
And if you're like
Luckily, that doesn't happen in podcasting.
if you're a pop star, you have that like, hey, I'm over the top diva. Like there's a tradition of like the way you have to act and stuff.
They're
like,
younger too, so her buying the ring thing. I think you're dead on this, man. I think you nailed it because I think she said,
And
"Hey,
she wants
just know if you ever propose to me, because they're quarantining everything." She's like, "Just know if you ever propose to me, I already got the ring picked out. I love it."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Sure enough." And then
he's probably like, well, I can't. This is more than my entire net
He
worth.
talks to
and then
her-
she's like, my account, my guy will pay for it.
Or he talks to her detail, and he's like, "No, it's fine. I'll get the ring. She wants it anyway." They get it. He talks to the designer. They get the ring. He proposes.
Yeah.
There it is.
And maybe
all to hide away.
And maybe because of the discount, that happens too because
For sure. That's advertisement for him.
yeah, a lot of like, remember there's a jeweler to like the hip hop community. There's like a guy that
like Jimmy the Jeweler.
yeah, and he makes like custom made pieces and like he rents them out or something like that. Like so he'll make them custom.
Because he can always melt them back down again.
And then
take
melt,
the diamonds out of the
yeah.
setting. Or,
And then that guy like will rent them out to like the most famous hip hop stars so that he gets publicity, so that like other non-hip hop stars, but guys that are rich want those. They go to him, right? Yeah.
I just thought of a question for David that we can put in our email as well. So gold, like you just recently had some gold that you had repurposed and melted down.
Gold has a price.
But
It's
do you
a market
lose
price.
any through the melting process?
I don't. That's a good question. I don't think so.
I don't normally think of good questions. That's my good question of the day. I'm exhausted.
Like, is it exactly?
Bye-bye.
Is it
Oh my
exactly?
God. I'm sorry. Hold on. It's like a little bit of blood coming out of my nose.
Like, say he took my gold chain and he cut off a portion for
Couple
to
of
make
links, melt it down.
and he's like, all right, this should be good. But did that exact
what
amount
I wanna
of
know.
gold with no waste get poured?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's
Does any
something.
Do you lose anything just from changing its form to a solid to a liquid? Do you lose like 0.00000 like
just heat.
heat is. Is there any?
And it's a chemical reaction
Is
of
there
melting.
any gold vapor? Is there? I'm just. I know maybe that's a.
There was a lot in the air at when we were at Red Cypress when we tried to put the gold in the beer. Remember that?
No,
Well, that was just a stupid.
Gold dust everywhere because Tom just poofed it out of a bag.
I've had good questions like, do you lose any gold? And I have bad ideas.
How stupid was it that we
That
got
was-
a bunch of gold and we're pouring it?
I told you guys to fake it.
Well,
that was a fun.
we
fun little.
actually shut down Red Cypress.
Yeah.
And then their head brewer, he started his own project, Sideward Brewing,
Yeah.
which I go to a lot. I drink their beers and they're delicious.
Yes.
But he ain't gonna mess around with any gold stuff anymore. That's for children.
So when are they getting married?
I don't know. No date set. They
Oh.
literally just got engaged this past weekend, so we'll see if they make it after quarantine and whatnot. You would think, though,
Will
if you're
not
gonna
make it.
date somebody and you're dating and quarantining together, you're around each other all the time.
Trial by fire, man.
I mean, you're living together.
Yeah, but
I mean, that probably
you gotta.
makes you closer than if you were just two celebrities dating without being in quarantine.
The chat
together.
room seems
but
to
they're
think
not
that they will never get married. This will never make it to
No?
marriage.
Is it because I talked about it on Who's Pork?
A little bit of that. Yeah. You throw a lot of negative energy.
But
I'm trying to be positive. Congratulations, Demi and Max.
and the rich and famous people are not staying inside like we are. You know what I'm saying? Like they can still do stuff.
Well, they'll shut down an entire resort and give you a beach if you want to,
They're-
right?
Like even in
Yeah, their quarantine's not the same.
Yeah, they can go skiing. They can go to any place. You know, they're around people. They can get. I mean, there's a whole community that can test. Like they have their own private doctors and test, and like they can continue on with their lives. Money makes things a lot easier, especially during this time where it's like you can pretty much live your normal life, besides from going into public and doing, and I'm sure a lot of your revenue because of your being an entertainer.
I can't live my normal life. I used to love to just walk around coughing on people.
I know. They called you the Baldwin Park cougher.
They called me the cougher. Yeah.
And now you can't do it anymore.
Today is Tuesday. I was gearing up for a big coughing Thursday, but no, not allowed anymore.
So,
Not the same with the mask on.
Well, good luck to them. Hopefully, they continue to pork.
oh man, what do you? Okay, with that much of a ring,
Mark it on the calendar.
Yeah.
Mark the day you did this.
Do you
All right.
do you have to what do you do with that? When $3 million, like if you don't end up getting married, like. But if she bought it, then it doesn't matter anyway.
Right.
She'll just sell it back to the jeweler.
Yeah.
He'll give her probably the same amount because what's it cost him? Nothing.
Yep.
He gets the ring back and he got all the advertisement.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ring's
yeah.
still just as beautiful as it was.
Yeah,
Your
same
love's not,
diamond
but we
now.
knew you were going to fail anyway.
Yeah.
Now, who's putting out negative energy?
Well, I'm just being a realist.
Yeah. It'll never last for sure.
That's what they said about
Jeez
Michael Jackson.
Louise.
Remember that? Oh, when he kissed Lisa Marie?
Oh yeah.
And then, like, who knew that we were talking about his life?
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about.
But everybody was right, of course.
Yeah, they were.
All right, bye.
Now, if you excuse me, I must propofol myself.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. On the line with us is one of our very special guests and a man that truly needs no introduction. He is a smarter man than Tom Van, a smarter man than Dan Dennis, and all around good guy who gets younger every time I take a look at him. It is our good friend. We call him RT Beef. It is Ray Trindley from the Kramer Law Firm. What's going on, man?
Just living the dream. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah, good. Except for I smell dust everywhere I go now because we did a home remodel and very dusty. And everybody said that they're like,
Well, you're going for like that haunted mansion look.
there's no way to stop the dust. And then
There's no way. No, absolutely not. Between drywall, the wood, and just things getting unsettled on the ground. I mean,
Yeah.
it's impossible.
Well,
even if you got a shop vac run 24/7.
Yeah, we removed the tile, and that was dusty, and then
They're going with dirt floor and wagon wheel table.
And then for a week,
I approve.
And this is my fault. I was like, let's remove the tile first, and then spend weeks of everybody tromping around all the dust, and then put the tile back.
Yeah.
We should have just done it the day before. I'm an idiot.
Well, I did what
That's
you
what
told
happens
me.
when you GC your own garbage.
I did what you told me. I walked through there with my my standard blower and just blew it crazy. I was just blowing it everywhere.
Oh, yeah. I did try the shop vac, and I was vacuuming up the dust, and then I looked back, and it was just pluming out the back of the shop vac.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the right filter.
Yeah, you gotta have
I was gonna say,
tiny.
you didn't put the filter in right. Yeah.
You gotta have that tiny filter.
I didn't put the fine dust filter. In fact, there's no filter.
Yeah,
Nothing.
no.
It was fill the dust.
You're just moving it to another room.
I was dusting my whole house.
It's just a dust mover.
Anyway,
We've
sorry.
all made that mistake before.
All right, I don't think you made the mistake.
Actually, I've never made
Most
that
people
mistake.
listening did make it. You're just trying to make me feel better, Ray. I see what you're doing, and I appreciate it.
What I'm trying to do is repair the beef because I heard that you want to challenge me in court, and so
Wait a minute, you got beef with
rebuild
beef?
the relationship.
Tom fancies himself a junior attorney, and he said he wants to go head to head with the beef.
Okay, let me ask you this, Ray. So if we were going to do a courtroom challenge, right? And
Mock trial.
So mock trial. In your opinion, what's easier, the defense or
Prosecution.
The prosecution?
He forgot the word.
Let's say the plaintiff. It's the same thing.
Which is easier, defense or not defense?
All fans.
So, there's both advantages, right? So when you're on the defending side, you kind of get the ability to hear what the other side's going to use. And then your goal is kind of poke as many holes in the ship as possible and see if you can make it sink, right? So I use battleship as my analogy for on the defense side of things.
Because
when you're
the burden of proof is on the prosecution, so it's like I think I could do what Jose Baez did, which is just tap dance around and be like, hey, look over here, and confuse the jury enough.
I mean,
throw everything out there until something sticks.
I can look dumpy in a brown suit.
That's
pretty easy.
Ray, you for sure followed that whole case, and we all laugh at Jose Baez and stuff, but he does have
He did his job.
Good track record of getting people that are seemingly 100% guilty off.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you want to look at him.
It's not what he did, Tom. It's what he didn't do.
Wasn't he Aaron Hernandez's attorney?
Yeah.
He didn't get that one.
That one went sideways.
Well, here's the thing about, the courtroom. It's incredibly unpredictable. And no matter how many times I tell people that I feel good or I feel bad, the reality is really nobody's got a good idea about what's going to happen in that courtroom. And so, part of it's intuition, reading people, understanding what people want to hear, right? That's a part of the job. Then the other part of the job is preparation, diligence, and then the kind of, I guess maybe the third component of that is just the evidence and how do you get what you want told to a jury or to a judge. And so, there's so many different facets of it. What he does, I think, really well is he's very intuitive, right? He understands what people want to see, what people want to hear. And when you're on the defense side, especially in the criminal context, well, you're not just trying to create doubt. You're trying to create enough doubt because most people can explain away, why were you Googling chloroform? But when you get to the real nitty gritty, there were so many holes that there was enough doubt that, they made a decision that they couldn't convict her.
I've got a questionable search history on my laptop.
But
that's because I work for them.
You should see
Samantha.
If anything comes up, I need Ray
murder.
to defend me.
Google how to murder Crystal, but don't put the last name.
Just put V. Period.
That'll figure it out. So Ray, let me ask you this. Is there something you could be too smart for your own good to relate to juries? Now, let me explain.
Oh, you mean like you're socially awkward?
So that or like could it be advantageous for someone, and I'm not saying this person like Jose Baez is dumb by any means, but could it actually benefit him to be
Relatable.
a little bit closer to the jury rather than someone that maybe is like a perfect lawyer, insanely smart,
like
but,
autistic for law.
But then the jury is like, man, I don't
like this big talking city boy.
I like the other guy. I
like the
him.
dumpy brown suit simpleton.
Is there something to that?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to dress for your audience, right? And so.
Ooh, do you have overalls somewhere? I hope you have overalls.
Yeah.
I do have a pair of overalls, but they're camo, not courtroom appropriate.
Oh.
I know it's sad for everybody, but no. So I mean, yeah, there's some strategy, right? So I think maybe plays better to women in the courtroom, and playing your audience. There are some very conservative judges who want to see pantsuits. And I'm not saying that's right or that's wrong, but you got to know your audience. And so, sometimes when you go to a jury, in Citrus County, you do pull out the tweed jacket and you present yourself as, somebody who's more relatable as opposed to, the $10,000 Armani jacket. I think
you go in there with like your seersucker on and you're like, what we have here is a case of mistaken identity. And then you
have to ask her I do declare.
Yeah, and then you gotta pull out a kerchief and then dab your forehead and you'll be like, over the next couple of weeks, you're gonna see some things that'll be very eye-opening to you. And you dab.
Yeah. My God, imagine how hot it was in the air-conditioned courtroom, and you're wearing a wool suit.
Oh my God!
My God!
Somebody get Boo Radley some Gatorade. It's hot in here. It's very much to kill.
That's a great law reference, though. I appreciate that.
Well, it's a legendary and amazing book on social injustice in our country.
All right.
I mean, Atticus Finch should be everybody's hero.
Yeah,
right.
Man. Yeah.
We digress, Ray. What do we got today? What do you want to talk about?
Oh, that was literally everything I had prepared. I wasn't ready for anything else. So we're going to call it a day.
Yeah, Jose Baez, check. Old Southern attorney.
Lawyer, dab, and we're out.
Well, Tom did have a question that I wrote down. I did send it to you, Ray, about...
Can I sue Dust?
Tom's question was the one about having an affair, claiming you have an affair with somebody.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Can you sue them?
Wow, you're a good producer. Literally, I was like, what could it be? I have no recollection of anything.
I don't listen to what you say. I'm glad somebody does. Good job, Sam.
I should stop.
That's your name, right?
This may not surprise you, Sam, but I didn't really understand what the question asker was asking.
Tom explain it to you.
So
it'll take about 20 minutes.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah. All right, I'll try to make it fast.
Quick.
So Samantha
Bye-bye.
had this story about a person that claimed they had an affair with a celebrity. I think that person was a celebrity
It was
too.
Jada Pinkett Smith, and then in a younger...
no, I think this was the Denise Richards one.
Oh, this was the Denise Richards one.
Where it was like Real Housewives of Hollywood or something.
Yeah, I saw that article.
So my question is it defamation... or can you claim...
Denise Richards is denying it.
Yeah, because, so...
Oh, this was the lesbian affair,
Right.
That's right.
So my theory was that the word affair can have a broad meaning, and so technically you can say I had an affair with a celebrity.
Yeah, like technically you and I have an affair.
Even and maybe you could
Business
say
affairs.
So you could say that even if the maybe you had one encounter with that celebrity, but in your mind you're like, I think they were in love with me.
We had a connection.
We had a connection. I had an affair with that person, and then go ahead and then release that to the media like I had an affair with this person. Could they sue you for defamation? Could the celebrity or anybody sue you and say, like, you falsely claimed you had an affair with me? And could the defense be, your definition of affair is different than mine, so therefore I could say that? I don't know.
I mean, so you hit it on a couple of different levels. I certainly hope that that's not the case, because every time I get off the radio with you guys, I go home and tell my wife I had an affair with her, or Tom and Dan, and she's all kinds of confused.
Mm-hmm.
Tell her I peeled your overalls off with my teeth.
Oh, my God.
The way I do it.
Where's the beef?
So you've got a couple of issues, right? So the first is kind of the defamation standpoint, right? And, at least in Florida, the way defamation works is somebody makes a false statement to a third party and it causes you damages. And so, that's kind of the first layer of the puzzle. And so the question is, does us saying I had an affair with this person cause them damages? Well, it might cause them emotional distress. It might cause them financial distress, meaning, nobody wants Denise Richards anymore, though I don't think she's acting anymore.
She is on reality TV.
Or you get a divorce, that's a huge financial
hazard.
Well, sure. So she's got to prove these things up. Now, unfortunately, one of the defenses that's 100% of a defense to a case for defamation is the truth, right? So then you're going to get into the nitty gritty of this relationship. And so, it might be one of those things where it's better to say, hey, listen, let's leave this, to our own, purposes. Let's come up with some type of deal or agreement to, maybe not talk about it and keep it out of the courtroom, because everything that says in the courtroom becomes a public record for the most part. And then the second part of this, or the second level of this, is some states, now Florida's not one of them, but they do have independent causes of action for these extramarital affairs. So, there could be a source of damages in some states where, the term is alienation of affection. You had the relationship with my spouse. Now I no longer have that same relationship I had with them, and I'm suing you for damages.
But
so,
could you, could you just make it up, what I'm saying, and then could you, to defend yourself against defamation, say my definition of affair is there's nothing sexual there. You know what I'm saying?
Emotional.
It was just my way of saying relationship.
Yeah. I'm just saying I had an affair with this person and I made it public and it caused a bunch of problems, and then they sued me because they're like, I got a divorce, I lost half my stuff because you. And then I say, well, to me we had an affair, but to the rest of the world they may have a different definition of affair.
Sure. And so, that's sometimes we ask the court to give what's called declaratory relief and to explain, is this fall within the court's definition of maybe defamation? So, is it possible? It's certainly possible. Do I think it's financially prudent, or I think it's something that's likely to happen? Probably not. Like I said, nobody really wants that mess spread in a courtroom.
Because to me, it reminded me of you can you find little loopholes like Bill.
That's my DJ name, by the way.
Little loophole.
Little loophole.
Yeah.
Little loophole.
Yeah, little loophole.
So
it's a little loophole.
It's like back in the day
when I go by Little Loop.
When Clinton was trying to defend himself about the Monica Lewinsky thing, and he was like, I did not have sex with this woman. And then in his mind, he's a lawyer, smart guy.
But I've been on Epstein's plane.
So technically, he was telling the truth. He didn't have intercourse, but we know it is a cigar.
I wish you had. I wish you had.
That's weirder.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah, but
I've tried that before.
Yeah.
It's not feasible.
If you had had irregular sex and the cigar was never involved, I think you're a sexual deviant.
Yeah, I think there's problems. Mental problems.
So that's
that's supposed to go in your mouth, right?
Yeah. I'm just thinking that that's a clever way to divert the question, because technically you're telling the truth, but the essence of what we're asking, you're trying to dodge, right?
Boy, that whole thing would be a little bit different.
So
go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. You. Mine was just going to be stupid.
Mine was going to be equally stupid, I'm sure. No, but that's really what we do to prepare witnesses. We want to make sure they listen very carefully to the question being asked. But, ultimately, that's a question for a judge or a jury, right? Is this a mistake, right? Because that's really what you're talking about. Is this a mistake? You mistakenly interpreted what I said as affair as something that has caused you damages. But I think the key that I think I'm now pulling out from what you're saying isn't the word affair, right? The fact that you use the word affair isn't what makes it actionable. What makes it actionable is that it was a false statement that has caused me damages. And so either way, you're going to get into this idea of, whether or not it was false that you had an affair, whether it was true you had an affair. And then that's, again, going to become a question for a jury. And it's going to be about context. You talk to somebody every day for 6 years, maybe that's more like an affair than I talked to you one time and I say we had an affair.
Gotcha. So the jury, it would be up to the jury and be like, you can't just say you met this guy one time, had an affair, you caused them damages.
Well, it depends on if you
liable.
pick people on the jury that felt that way, which you could try. You could certainly try, right, Ray? But the likelihood of that is probably pretty slim.
Yeah, voir dire is a whole nother separate issue. And voir dire is kind of the process that we go of asking questions to pick a jury. And so I don't know if you've ever seen the TV show Bull. But there are actual jury consulting companies that will
Seen
charge
it. I acted out of my bedroom every night.
Yeah. You have to pretend like you're
Get
going
the spoon.
like you're going around the corner, and then you see your wife in there, and then you're like,
or you see her. It's like, oh man, I'm staying with my stepsister. Oh look, she's changing. I just happen to have this video camera.
The bull,
You spend way too much time on the internet.
the bull knows the husband's like creepily walking around with the video camera.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because
he
he
just
said
ignores
before, and
it.
he's like, just pretend I'm not here.
Okay, yeah. All right, yeah. Oh,
I think
sorry.
we're talking about different bowls.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry.
But I think that show Bull had that one guy on it that got into some trouble, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it ever went anywhere. I know there were some allegations, but I don't know if it ever went anywhere.
Have you ever deliberately tried to pick the most dumb people for the jury?
No comment.
Yeah.
Oh,
See, I think I would. I think I would do that. Then I'd get a real dum dum on there and be like, well, I gotta pick you.
Dude, I've heard. I don't know if this happens, Ray. You could tell us, but I
Or
think,
he's not gonna tell us.
I think like a lawyer would be
Doesn't
like,
have
"Who at the jury believes in ghosts?" And then the people will be
You're like, we're keeping
"I-
that guy."
Yeah. You're like, we're keeping the ghost guy because if he believes
Has
in that-
anybody ever seen the video about the leprechaun and agreed? Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
because
I wanna see the leprechaun
the
say yeah.
strategy on picking juries depends on what you're trying to do, right? So, the goal is to not have a hung jury because then you got to do the whole process all over again. Although,
No balls.
sometimes, maybe that is a strategy depending on timing of where you think the world is going to be by the time you have your next jury trial. And so that is a possibility. But most of the time, you don't want a hung jury. You want to find people that are going to relate to your story. So I'll just, create a really simple example. You're doing a jury trial for a DUI, and you think that the officer was extra aggressive, right? And then so you're going to ask people, have you ever had interactions with law enforcement where they were extra aggressive? Did you feel violated, right? Did you feel like that was, improper? And those are questions you're going to be asking because what you're going to want to do is have jurors who are going to react emotionally to what they're seeing in the evidence and then rule in your favor, or, help the other people decide in your favor. And then, on the other side is, in a medical malpractice case, if you're on the plaintiff's side, you want people who have good, positive relationships with doctors, not people who think I'll never go to the doctor because they're just trying to push me on drugs, stuff like that.
is there a baseline intelligence level that you have to be on a jury?
No.
Can you get a driver's license? That's all it takes to get on a jury.
Remember
So-
the young girl that was on my jury for the insurance fraud, and she was the dumbest human being because she couldn't understand why they didn't want her on her cell phone, and she kept asking question after question. Like, we would have been out of there a day earlier had we not had this complete dum-dum on the jury.
Yeah. Can you?
So, true story. There was a person who threatened to take up the behavior and demeanor of other jurors with the state capital, Florida, Tennessee. That was her threat. Nobody really was really that worried about it because obviously the state capital of Florida is Tallahassee. Oh
man. So can you can the rest of the jury?
Yikes.
Can they go to the judge and be like, hey, Bill,
She is not fit for this.
This person is not even. I think is below intelligence
Dude, it's
level
funny you
for
say
average.
that. It's funny you say that. Our
special
foreman,
needs.
I wasn't our guy, the guy that kind of orchestrated and talked. He said that. He's like, should we?
Oh,
like
the
try to-
foreman?
Yeah, he was like, should we try to get her out of here? And I was more along the
probably
just
hard,
heads down. Let's just try to help her as much as we can so we can get the hell out of here.
That's scary.
Yeah, judges have some discretion in how the juries operate. And if the judges hear that something's happening that, would be the opposite of what the judge wants, or so the judge wants an orderly courtroom that is going to be focused, and they want the jurors to be focused on what's happening. And if the judge gets a whiff of what's going on, I don't see it very often, but I've seen on one occasion where the judge will pull people aside and say, what's going on? I want to make sure this doesn't happen again. If it happens again, you might be removed. I don't know if it was if it's a strategic decision to try to get removed, but it doesn't happen very often, at least in my experience.
Right.
It's gotta hurt when you're told by the judge that you're too dumb for court. Right? That's gotta sting. As you're walking
too
walking
dumb.
back.
I mean, like I
Too
said,
dumb
it's a
to
low
hurt.
bar.
Yeah. You don't even. You
don't
can't
think
even,
so?
No, I think that girl is so dumb that she wouldn't even understand someone telling her.
I didn't want to do it anyway.
Yeah.
She didn't want to be there.
Do you think there ever be like some sort of supercomputer, Ray, that we can input all the case information into it, and not that it would make the decision, but we like the judge would at least know, like, all right, what the supercomputer say, like, and like,
Let me
all right,
compare.
98% chance of being guilty. What did the Dodo jury say? Like, get two guilty, good.
Yeah.
But if one's
No whammies. Stop.
if one's at least they could be like, well, what's it? Something.
No, I'm feeling you. Yeah.
I feel like every once in a while you'll get like a real dumb jury, and then things like
almost like
inconceivable
like veto power.
Yeah. I mean, we see.
So they've done a bunch of studies on this. I think it was out of New York State. They did 2 separate studies that I'm aware of. One was in setting bond. So in bond hearings, kind of what happens is you commit a crime, you go in for a bond hearing and arraignment, and then the judge sets the bond where they say, no, you get to stay in jail and we're not going to release you. And so the judges kind of have a swath of information available to them. They've got your criminal jacket, they've got your experience, they got where you're working, they got all this ancillary information, which theoretically should determine whether or not you plan on returning to court at a later time, whether it's a pretrial or a trial. And then they make the decision on whether or not to release you for bond. So they did a competition between judges in I think it was in New York State, and a supercomputer. And I forgot what the statistic was, but it was like, let's say 40% of the time the judges got it right, that the witnesses were going to reappear, or the defendants were going to reappear, and like 80% of the time the computer got it right.
Oh yeah. Of course.
So
yeah.
So but the computer only had limited information, right? The computer's information was, what's their criminal record and what were they currently being charged with, or something, very simple. And they got it right, like twice as many times. And then they've done similar things, trying to figure out like trial verdicts and things like that, and whether or not, based off of the evidence that was input into the computer, and whether or not, and that was presented at trial, and whether or not the jury got it right. And it was like stupid off,
well, dude, human beings are flawed by a million different variables. Like, are they having a good day? Did their wife yell at them, or husband? Or, did they have an argument? What is the jury? Are they
very temperamental?
The person look like?
Are they hungover?
Yeah. What race?
100%.
Right.
What race are they? Like all these different variables that probably
did they eat breakfast?
That determine what their decision's going to be made, and then you get a super logical computer.
Do they like homemade deer jerky?
Well, and the other part of that too is just the interaction between the jurors or the judge and the parties, right? So, I hate saying it like this, but to a certain extent, who you are and who impacts your results, right? So, you get a first-year lawyer who's never been in front of a judge before, and you have on the other side an attorney who's been with this judge in that courtroom for 25 years. They're going to have more of a rapport. They're going to give that attorney maybe more of a benefit of the doubt, and then the jury's going to see the experience difference, right? They're going to see confidence. A polished trial compared to some guy with papers falling everywhere.
Oh, that happened to me once.
Tom had this guy. We can't say his name, but
yeah,
he might still practice.
Papers falling out of his briefcase.
His name was Better Call Paul. Oh man, he had like an ill-fitting bell-bottom blue suit on.
I love it.
He had the paneling and the desk where his desk is propped up on books.
I was like, oh, I'm going to jail.
Yeah.
I was like,
that's what you knew.
I really did it this time. I told myself while I was sitting, I was like, I really done it this time.
You look at his desk, he's got an old Apple IIc and one of those little plastic Noids from the old Domino's pizza commercials.
I actually looked down and I was like, did I want to go to prison in sandals?
They give you slides.
I need to change my life.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, honestly, you want to bring as little, nice things to the jail as possible, because you never know what you're going to get back. So your flip flops and shorts outfit is probably perfect.
Did they let you keep your wedding ring on?
No.
They put that They put that in one of the envelopes
Oh, yeah.
with your giant A Mediocre Time necklace. I don't even know why you wear that. I hate that thing, by the way. Tom wears this giant novelty gold necklace that like he thinks he's from the U, and it says A Mediocre Time, and it's all blinged out. It's just vile.
It's the new turnover chain. I love it.
Yeah.
You don't know. You're not down.
I'm not. I'm not down with that. Well, Ray, I think we did a lot of bad today.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, this one was bad.
No, that's not
I'm
us.
kidding. I'm joking. It was funny.
It's the looking younger and distracting juries conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, we didn't really get to anything that you wanted to talk about, Ray. I apologize.
That's okay.
But next time, I promise.
The fish tank is looking good.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, thank you.
We got some new shrimp in there.
Yeah, we have shrimp, and then we have a bunch more of these little bee holes.
Yeah. Then we got a real, like a reef monster fish.
Yeah, we have a reef monster, and then we have a turd worm.
Oh, did you see the mushroom?
Yeah,
What
I
is
put
that?
that in there. Don't touch that.
That's not good for the
Don't
fish.
put. That's
What is
my.
that?
Fish are freaking out right now.
Yeah, that's my.
What is that thing?
That's my mushroom. I put him in there.
All right.
See what happens.
Well, Ray,
I'm bored of these fish. I want to stir up the pot.
we appreciate it. Again, if you want to talk to Ray Trinley, just contact my Kramer Law Firm, onefirmforlife.com.
Uh-huh.
And Ray, thanks for coming on today.
All right, absolutely. Thanks for having me, and you guys stay safe.
Yeah, you
Keep it
too.
beefy.
Keep it beefy
Keep
out
it beefy.
there. Yeah, keep
Next
it-
time I'll do like a cut-off sleeve shirt or something.
All
like
right.
that.
Yeah. Keep it beefy.
See you, Ray.
All right, see you, beef.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
All right, see you, man. Okay, there's Ray Trinley from the Kramer Law Firm, keeping it beefy.
You know those the tank tops or whatever that the
Long, yeah. So your love handles hang out the sides.
yeah. It's like
Or
this
where
is
the
just-
armholes are
Well,
cut
no,
long.
it's still connected at the bottom.
muscle tank. It's a muscle
It's
Oh,
still
yeah.
connected at the bottom, but like I see
What is
guys
that?
wear those at the beach, but they're normally fat guys, so their side tees fall out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't wear that. Don't wear that.
That's made for like bodybuilder
Yeah.
guys, right? Yeah.
I like I wear a crop top,
Oh yeah,
but
the
it's a
80s.
sweatshirt.
Ooh.
It's just like it just covers my breast, and then my belly hangs out the bottom of it, and then I wear a tiny speedo bottom, black,
I do-
tiny black speedo, like a shark skin
God,
style,
I remember the
and I wear zip up black surfer booties.
the cut off sleeve sweatshirt, but crop top.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
It's just a like football pad. Oh,
Yeah, that was
dude,
the
Yeah.
older brother in the Goonies. He
Yeah,
had one of
yeah,
those.
Yeah,
ones.
a lot of like beefier muscle guys will wear those.
yeah.
And they're carrying around like a giant jug of some kind of cloudy juice that they have to
Yeah.
drink in order to stay alive. Those people are always so inflamed and gross looking. Like your body is inflamed. You look like an angry zit of a human.
Also, we should call it like it is. Like you're a workout addict. Like you have an
Yeah.
unhealthy relationship with working out. Like
Yeah,
let's just call it
Look,
like it
your
is.
muscles look great if that's what you're going for, but you still look disgusting.
But no,
Talking about Seth?
they just
No.
they're
He's
addicted-
not. He's not as beefy. I'm talking about the beefy, veiny guys.
Yeah, the bodybuilders, they're addicted. I mean, I think they will tell you they're addicted to because there's not that much money in it, so they're into it because they're addicted to the gains.
They like the pump.
And they usually are obsessed with it to the point where that's their life, and they usually have like, a night job.
gonna
or
start
something,
doing
some
that.
other job that facilitates them working out most of the day.
I'm gonna start acting like those guys, but I'm not gonna have the physique. So what I mean is, I'm gonna wear the crop top. I'm gonna
Protein
carry
powders.
around the jug of cloudy water, big. I mean, massive. It's like a 15 to 20 gallon jug
Yeah.
that they carry around. I'm gonna wear tiny shorts,
Yeah.
and tiny little workout shoes or CrossFit shoes. But you guys will see me. I'm wearing that all the time, but I never go to the gym ever. It's just my style.
It's your lifestyle.
Yeah, my
your
lifestyle.
bodybuilder lifestyle.
Exactly.
But not the
Not the
working
actual
part.
bodybuilding.
Don't gain shame me, bro.
Yeah.
Don't gain shame me.
It's just your style.
It's just my style.
Yeah. And because working out is a hard part.
Yeah, I don't want
you
that
just like
part.
all the other.
I don't want to look like those guys.
Yeah.
I do my own workout, which
Are
is
we going over the line with calling him RT Beef and having him wear sleeveless shirts on our next Skype?
I mean, it's not helping the
probably is.
relationship.
Yeah. It does him no good, but it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
It might do him some good.
it's
Yeah.
entertaining to us. I can't speak for the listeners or him.
Yeah, or the business part of it.
Yeah,
any of that,
or if
He
it's gonna-
voluntarily offered that.
Yeah,
I want
yeah,
that to be known.
Yeah,
as
but he
well.
wants to play.
Yeah.
You can
You
see
get bored.
it inside his eyes. He wants to play.
Because most of your work is like appointments and then doing this and legal.
I mean, how many
jargon.
people does he have to meet with that don't have a case?
I think the majority of all like legal stuff is just like postponing and stuff.
Yeah.
It's all
you just get your secretary to postpone it.
Yeah, you postpone it, then you file
Give
some
me an
things.
extension, postpone, extension, settled out of court.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. I know how to do it now.
It's just like filing the right grievances and all these.
Sorry, can't do that. I need 2 weeks more grievance.
Like, I think it's like an NFL game. Like, there's only like maybe 8 minutes of actual ball in play action. Like usually it's very rare that you're actually in court and talking to a jury like
I object. Like that doesn't
you say
happen.
object like once every couple years unless you're like a trial attorney and then it's just grueling.
Yeah,
and then there's just a bunch of extensions again.
Extension, grievance.
It's all filing.
It's the same thing I do with my taxes. You did with your taxes.
Yeah. I still haven't paid.
I pay like I think I write a check every week to the government.
No,
my
bro,
wife does.
You ruined it.
No, my wife, she'll be like, "Oh, you got a ticket, a voucher. Pay your voucher." I'm like, "Well, what am I?"
No. I haven't paid the vouchers long.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've been paying all the vouchers.
Extension.
And then my paycheck didn't come last week.
Oh, yeah.
That was stolen out of Tom's car.
They're coming again.
Yeah, something's wrong.
Yeah.
That's what I'm meaning to say. And I think bringing it up on the air is probably the only way I'm going to get some solution. I've been calling Tom's cell phone all weekend. I'm like, I didn't get my check. Is anybody talking here? I'm calling Sam. I'm calling Butler. Nobody's talking to me. I came here. The door was locked and the locks had been changed. I peeked through the windows. Everything's gone. I don't know how you gutted this place and put it back together in one weekend, but something nefarious.
I went
happened.
very Office Space. I was just like, just don't stop paying him. He'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It'll work itself out. I don't want to deal with it.
And then I asked my wife, I was like, "Did you talk to Crystal?" And she goes, "Oh, yeah." And I go, "Well, what happened?"
I told her, like, just keep blowing up.
Yeah.
Just
Extension.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break. Bye-bye.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom. So I watched a movie maybe Saturday night or something, Friday night.
Right.
And it was...
And it wasn't a documentary.
No.
Okay.
That's weird.
It was There Will Be Blood. Have you guys seen that?
Wait a minute. You've
I haven't
seen
seen
that
that yet.
before. That's with Vigo. It's Vigo.
No. It's Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
No, haven't watched that.
Wait,
one.
I heard isn't this super
it's
gross violence?
No. Well, I mean, there's some violence in it, but it's more... I think I watched it a long time ago, and I must have forgotten like all the... like what it was really about, and I think it's like an old school because it was like it's set in the early 1900s, right? But it shows you how like corporations got in with religion and how like big corporate bosses were like placating to the religious neighborhoods to try to influence them to get. So they like the whole movie's showing like how this guy's
corporate greed,
his oil, like he started an oil company, and how like the oil company, him running it, and then he started off by like hating this guy that was like started a church in the local towns that he was trying to get all the oil from. And so at first he was like hated this guy. Then he had to because this guy had built his church so big that he had to use
a lot of influence.
He had to use this guy for his influence, and then he had to like pretend to be part of the religion, and like it was a whole thing. And like it was kind of like,
all right, that sounds pretty interesting.
It was showing basically probably how things work nowadays and how they started that way. You know? Anyway, that's not what I want to talk about.
Politicians now will align themselves with a particular religion in order to get the votes. I mean, that's
that's
different.
been going on.
Yeah.
By the way, the father-son component of that movie killed me. I had to stare at the wall most of the time because I couldn't stand it because and talk about how Daniel Day-Lewis like plays the ultimate real man, and anyway, what I wanted to talk about.
You'll never have that problem. I don't think.
No.
I don't think your sons will ever hate you.
I just I can't watch a father and son relationship go bad, and
I know.
Like too close. Like that's the one thing I'm soft about.
I watch a Hallmark commercial about the daughter coming home and surprising the dad, and I just start bawling. Yeah, I get it.
So, but what I want to talk about is in the beginning of the movie. And by the way, if you haven't seen this, spoiler alert.
Oh, damn it.
And now,
how old is the movie?
This is not
2007.
This is not a spoiler.
Come on.
Anyway, the big
I don't really care about it.
It's not a spoiler. So the beginning shows how he started. Like basically, he started digging in the 1900s. Like it's crazy how they got oil, right? So the guy, I guess it showed him looking at rocks and like digging this long hole, which I'm guessing he was using geology to find out whether oil was underneath.
Well, he was a silver miner.
Oh,
so
maybe
he
he
looking
was,
for silver and then found oil.
Maybe that's the case. But so when he found oil, then they dug it. Like I guess oil would just seep up. You know how like our groundwater in Florida,
it's like Beverly Hillbillies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's I guess if it gets to the top. But if you dig deep enough, like in Florida, you dig deep enough, you'll start hitting groundwater.
Yeah, there'll be water going up.
And then as you dig the hole, the water will just
seep up.
And apparently,
Sea level.
oil will do the same thing. If there's oil underneath you, it'll just seep up out of the ground. So these guys would dig like early before they had the pump jacks and stuff.
Sure.
They would dig a long hole, right? And then to the bottom where they're like waist deep in oil seeping up. And then they would just have a pulley system of buckets, and there would be a couple people down in the hole, and they just fill the oil, or fill the buckets with oil, and then they just pull them up, and then they would just dump them out, and then like that's how they would harvest the oil. And it seemed insanely miserable, and I got to meet.
How do you get clean?
I was thinking, I was like, this has got to be based on reality, right?
I'm
like,
sure. With the technology back then.
Yeah, like that's all they had. And then they would show the guys down there, they'd be smoking and filling oil in buckets.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while, like a full bucket would come off the thing and just like smash one of the guys dead. By because it would fall down the hole, and then they wouldn't know it.
Yeah,
and
my great grandpa was killed by an oil bucket.
And then they pull that dead body out, put another guy in, and
I would just put him in the bucket and lift him up.
And I was like, man, that's hard living.
Oh, yeah.
Like
it's like canary coal mine type stuff. When you start hearing about what these guys do, you're like, oh my god.
And for whatever reason, that struck me as like that is hard work that was probably done by the most desperate people in the world, right? Like, who's going down 100 foot into an oil hole and filling oil buckets all day, and that's your job? Like, that is that's
somebody who needed to do that. They needed some money.
It's either you do that or die of starvation, right?
Right.
Like,
probably providing for a family of some sort, or.
And then obviously the technology got better, and then now like they would just use those big pump jacks and to pump the oil, but those are still crude. And people are dying left and right all over the place. But man, you just look back and they're like, man, these people lived a harder life, like insane, like 1,000 times harder than us right now. Like, I mean, there couldn't be even a number to express the difference between how hard their life was.
It depends on how you want to describe hard. I would imagine that right now the amount of mental, and what I'm trying to say is the amount of like mental problems that are, I'm not saying you were born with it, I'm saying that are probably created through
technology
the amount of, the addiction to
our bodies are more
technology.
Suited for just filling a bucket or filling
I think
a
so
bucket
too.
of oil all day every day without thinking about it, than probably going on social media and the internet. But still, I'm looking at these people and the depiction of what they did, I'm like, whoa, that is hard. I mean, they're in like Texas or some place, hot as hell in an oil hole, digging out oil. It's insane.
Yeah, I just imagine at the end of the day, once your day ends, what do?
You have to clean yourself. I mean,
I don't know how you would.
It must take you.
Soak in a tub for
I don't think you could.
Yeah,
you're not going to get it all off.
You go to the river.
You got to work tomorrow, so you might as well
You got those big wash buckets.
Yeah, but oil,
I don't think you could get it off there.
No, you're not going to get it off.
I mean, they're in like slicks and stuff, but they have oil all over their face and stuff.
I think you got to just stay kind of greasy until you take a vacation.
Plus,
vacation.
Imagine
at some point, or you die.
Just being in an oil hole, just breathing that, like, that's got to be killing you by the second, right? I mean, your life expectancy is 32.
I don't know. Does crude oil give off a toxic fume?
It's got to.
Yeah, I'm sure, because I guess there's levels of how long the oil, like,
Ooh, what if it gets in your urethra? Ooh.
I know
it'd keep it watertight.
It's worse than soap, right?
So then it made me think. I was like,
I don't think things can move down there? I mean, I think maybe you get a coating on there.
Not to go back to jobs, but is there anything in the United States, like I know other countries for sure have this, but is there anything in the United States that is even relative to something as miserable as
Like currently?
that people do every day, like for work. I know there's coal miners and stuff,
Yeah,
but
and there's sewage people.
yeah,
And
but the sewage people, like, you know,
I couldn't get used to the sewage type stuff. Just that smell is just so pungent.
But the technology has gotten to the point where a lot of, I would say most sewage guys in America that have to like pump porta potties and stuff, they got it down to like a clean
They
sign.
know how to
so it's
avoid
like,
it, yeah.
You know, you put the tube in the bottom and then there's a seal and then it's pumping, unless there's some catastrophe.
I mean,
There's a lot of small production warehouses that are extremely dangerous with really bad conditions that are in the U.S.
Yeah. I
that just
imagine.
go undocumented.
Yeah. Especially talk about undocumented workers and stuff. Then they can get away with it.
Or just like no one follows the rules and no one checks up on them. I used to work for a company that at any moment anyone could have died.
That'd be
I
pretty
probably got cancer from that place.
Don't say that. My God.
Well, is there like, I'm sure there's jobs where it's like, hey, climb down into this vat and shovel this gook, like this gook,
Yeah.
for, every day, and then that's your job, or something like some horrible. Because, man, think it, like just watching those guys.
Let's do worst job Wednesday.
There's Serve Pro guys.
We've done,
like the ones that clean out. Like somebody, Tracy actually hit the nail on the head. I was gonna say people that clean up like burned out houses or water.
Yeah.
Where you get into a swampy house water conditions. Where I mean that's got to be pretty damn bad.
Yeah, although it's like demolition stuff and like. I guess, man, getting up and...
But no, technology's basically...
made things a lot easier.
Changed everything because most of your jobs where you would have human contact with oil or with sewage or with X...
A robot can do it more efficiently.
Yeah, or like you figured out a way, like even like pumping oil like with a hose. I mean, you have like some sort of a computer that can help you do it now.
Man.
You get a little bit on you, but it ain't like you're in there filling the buckets.
Those tile guys, the tile removal guys,
man.
like that's, I mean, there was like, let's say 8 guys and they were in there and then just bashing the tile. They had the machine and they were shoveling it, putting in buckets, heavy loading into the, like, I mean, I watched them like just nonstop for hours doing this and I'm like, that's tough. like that's a hard job.
And it's loud.
And
it's hot. I mean, the list of the reasons why it's bad can just go on and on and on.
I think that the boss was riding the tile machine, and then the workers, I feel
Clean
like,
up the tile?
I don't think like those guys have longevity. Like you,
Come on, let me ride. Nope.
Is there
Clean up the tile out of the rider.
Is it possible that any of those guys say like, I like this job?
Yes.
Really? And then want to continue to do it for the long term?
Yeah. There are guys that just like the job because they're good at it.
Yeah.
But shoveling tile.
I'm envious of a lot of those people.
They know how to do it. They know how to do it well.
They get a decent wage.
They get a workout.
Yeah.
There
are a lot of people like that.
Yeah. It just seems like you would be like, I have to stop
It's
doing this.
not a big thinking job. It's just
I
do
have
it.
Well, you at least say, hey, I want to get to the point where I'm riding the machine, right? Like, I want to get from
Maybe
shovel.
that's boring.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like if you're shoveling all day, you want to do anything
You
but
didn't
shovel.
ask them while they were working for you over there, slave driver?
No, never talk about the tile.
They wanted to get to work. They didn't want to sit there and have long
You guys told
conversations.
no gravedigger stories? Come on, guys.
Yeah, these guys.
How about a bear dance or two? Oh, yeah.
The tile demo guys are no nonsense. They just want to get in there and get the job done.
What about did you, and you left Soapy Bot up?
Yeah, but that wasn't in the place.
Did you?
We've already redone the bathroom,
So you did that in preparation, and then you keep that locked, right?
Not locked. They could have seen it. I left the house, so they could have
Yeah,
done whatever
they
they
saw
want. Yeah. But
I'd go in there and
those guys
at least
they
stand
weren't
to the
BDMs.
side to see if they drew anything, like something coming out of it, or
No, it's fine.
I would. It's like I drew.
I mean, it's super. I mean, here's the thing: it's at-home floor store, so everybody that he uses is super.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Professional. Not gonna. I wouldn't worry about it. But it was one of those things like. If you have a job that's not like that and you see firsthand, like, whoa, I better appreciate
something
not
as simple,
doing that.
Anything that's manual labor. I mean, something is simple. Now, I'll use air quotes, even though you guys can't see me. as when that old man installed our carpet. I mean, that looked terrible because he was stretching and pulling and lining and, and it just like,
But
and kicking. Like, I wouldn't want to do it.
But he liked the art to it, and he appreciated like putting the patterns together, and like he used like I specialize in patterns. Like it was just a happenstance. I'm talking, he was just like, hey, you're in there, like, it's kind of like what the worst punishment. Okay, in most movies, like I watched.
They do this a lot in video games too, where you start out and you've been captured and you're breaking rocks in a cave.
So think about
for every game.
And Handmaid's Tale, and then even in like Django, when they were gonna castrate Django.
In Witcher, in Skyrim, I mean, tons of video games.
And I just watched
it cave.
Recently, and they're like, no, we're not gonna castrate him. We're gonna send him to the worst punishment known to man, which is send him to the mining company, and they'll work him to death. And then in Handmaid's Tale, they're like, we're going to send them to the cleanup company and work them to death.
Yeah, it's always manual labor on some yard.
Well, that way they can, get free labor.
Yeah.
Why not?
Of course. Yeah. But it's all in these movies that's the worst way to die. It's like not just be killed or like tortured or anything. It's like send them to the camps to work to death. And I'm like, people do that for a living. There's people that all day, every day are pounding something or shoveling or scooping. Yeah. And then so that can't be. How could you like it? Like, right?
There are some people that have reached a level of
Tell me why.
It falls into tell me why, but it's like
the thing that in the movies is the worst thing in the world.
I have a lot of friends, and I can't speak for breaking tile because that's hard. Yeah. That's really, really hard. Yeah. But I have
manual labor is fine.
I have a lot of friends that have found their niche. They're good at it. It's a simple job. Now, I'm not taking anything away from it by saying that. I'm sure a lot of people look, I've done this enough where this is a pretty simple job for me. I mean, the more you do anything with reps.
Of course, this is easy for us now.
I got buddies that they have found their, manual labor job, and they found that sweet spot. It's not hard, and they don't want a hard life, so they just like it.
True, but there's a spectrum. Like, I 100% agree. I like manual labor jobs, and I think I learned to enjoy a lot of them. I'm talking about, like, the other end of the spectrum, the most manual labor, which is like, shovel this and don't stop shoveling 8 hours a day.
Yeah,
or
like
break
roofing.
These
I kind of
rocks.
put roofing in that category too. When I see these guys, they're like robots up there. They're scraping shingles off and putting shingles down. I'm like, how do you do that?
Yeah. But even roofing doesn't have the element of the I'm just going to shovel all day. Like, at least there's like, hey, I put this roof together. It's hard ass work and to me, up there with the hardest work, but there's like a beginning and an end, and there's like
no, I see what you're saying.
The shoveling or just scooping oil is just like there's no end. There's never the satisfaction of like, hey, I stopped. It's just like never ending breaking rocks for no reason until you die.
But it might be fun. Did you get in there? Did you get in there and break any tile?
No.
Maybe there's some sort of, it's
like
almost
stress
like
relief.
It's like those videos where you see somebody using a knife to cut kinetic sand and it like relaxes your brain somehow. Maybe there's just the repetition.
Dude, some people pay to go to those destruction rooms and just beat things up with a sledgehammer.
Huge in Japan.
But the thing is, they do that for about 15 minutes. They're like, I got it out, and you're winded, and then you leave and go to TGI Fridays.
Right.
But
these guys are just
every
shoveled
500
out.
people, there's one guy who really likes it. Oh, that's old Shoveling Billy. He loves it.
Yeah. Oh, God, bye-bye. Welcome back to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. If you would like to leave us a voicemail message, we certainly would appreciate it. You can get our app with all of our content on it. Just search wherever you get your apps for any smartphone, Android or iOS. Search A Mediocre Time or Tom and Dan. And we'll get you moving and grooving. If you'd like to sign up to be a BDM member, we'd like that even more. And always find us on Twitch or on YouTube by searching Tom and Dan Live. The Lunchmen deal, we've been on the search for a male high school.
Oh, no, elementary school.
Or elementary school, not high school. Pardon. Thank you.
Cafeteria, man.
A elementary school lunchman.
Yeah.
And we can't find one, but evidently this is the guy that they keep talking about.
Hey, guys. I was listening to the OG show back in July of 2020. And Tom had said that there was no male lunch lady And
I also like that this guy.
Yeah.
He's also like calling in like the apocalypse has happened, and he's like, I was listening back in 2020.
It's like it's still
like-
July 2020.
Yeah, it's the 28th. I mean, I don't know.
I do like that though because sometimes you know they stack up. And we
Yeah,
don't
it
play
was
until
good
later.
that he did that, right? I thought that gave him like a
Yeah.
lot of forethought. He's like a really smart listener.
Except for the one time that we play
Yeah.
on time.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
my fault.
It's like, I talked to you, I left a message July 28th. It's like, that's today.
Yeah, that's what I get for exceeding
there
expectations.
actually is a professional chef that cooks for an all-girls school up in New York. I think it's St. Mary Magdalene, and I believe they range in ages from or grades from kindergarten all the way through high school, and he's in like his mid to late 30s. And also, my next door neighbor has a lawn service crew that is a husband and wife team, so there is female lawn workers, not gay, and she actually operates all the heavy equipment while he goes and does all the weed whacking and edging.
I think
All
I
right,
saw
guys,
that
have a good
couple.
day. Bye.
Number one.
That didn't count.
The number one, the male lunch lady doesn't count because that's a private school with a professional chef.
Yeah.
That's not a regular
That's not a
lunchman.
lunchman.
And
that's a chef.
it's
That's
high-
a different job.
It's high school, too. We're talking like, I want,
Well, he said kindergarten to whatever. So,
yeah,
I mean,
wow.
but the whatever part, I want government, elementary
yeah,
school,
it's got to be
Yeah.
a public school.
Public-
Yeah.
Lunchman.
lunchman.
Because everybody's been
Getting
saying
an
about
hourly wage.
the one that's been inundating our voicemails is.
But I did see on my way home last week
The male.
a male and a woman lawn care. They had the trailer and everything. She was on the giant riding lawnmower and he was doing the edging. And they both had like the shirts on. They both worked for the company. And I was like, huh, there you go.
Was it their company, like husband and wife?
Yeah, it looked like it. It could have been the same company that this guy was talking about.
Interesting. Man, that's they're way better couple than I am. Could you imagine
Well, no, I don't think that
working
counts.
lawn care with your spouse and not...
Oh, I'd rather die in the oil. I'd just kill me. Have the oil bucket fall on my head and kill me.
Me and my husband do that, except we don't get paid.
Yeah. I'm saying...
I mow, he edges and blows.
That's, when are you, once a week?
Yeah.
I'm talking
Yeah,
all day,
daily,
every day.
9 yards a
No,
day.
no.
Then you have to do your own when you get home and...
No, I think you got to do like a shrink, and you got to hire a guy.
Oh, okay.
For your
yeah.
own.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're tired of it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can't
yeah.
do it anymore. You know, it's
All the
like,
equipment's right there. The
it's like I
trailer.
still can't believe I edit my own podcast. I was like, I should have a company do that.
Yeah. I've
Yeah.
told you for years.
I
haven't.
know. But like, I could not. I already fight with my. I mean, you heard the last Friday Free show, like
Yeah.
you know, and I think a lot of that is I've been pretty darn good during quarantine with my anxiety and everything, and I think I just hit a point where I just had enough, and I was just rattled. But no, like I don't think that the husband and wife team counts. Because I kind of feel like she's doing it to help him out.
Or they both started the company
Together, yeah.
I'm talking about a female hired by a traditional lawn maintenance crew.
That's what I want. Yeah.
You're finding loopholes here, sir, and I understand
Well,
that.
Maybe
Yeah.
the criteria wasn't specific
Okay.
enough.
The
So-
same way I would look down on a lunchman whose mom is also a lunch lady. And he just like slid in there. He was helping out after school.
Yeah.
He was 16, 17. At 18, he became a lunchman and worked his way. I would still frown on that. I want just a man who was hired to serve slop at
Right.
an elementary school lunchman. That's it.
And then for the female lawn crew, I want a female
Hired by a chauvinistic.
yeah. Lawn crew. Now she's the only female in the crew.
Yes.
And she, does whatever they all do, the weed eating, all the.
You might not get that because that's a rough time for a
Yeah,
gal
no, I know,
amongst
I know.
the lawn
Yeah,
maintenance
But
men.
they're out there, I feel like.
Yeah. And with a big enough company.
For
You
sure,
think that
sexually
Lunchman-
harassed every day.
You think Lunchman, when he saddles up at the ale house after everybody, like Lunchman goes up there to watch the big game,
Now-
and you don't think his bros give him any S because he's a lunchman?
Now, if it's a lawn.
If you're a lunchman, I feel like you're a nerdman, and I don't think your friends are gonna care too much.
if
Oh, you're probably right. I like your stereotyping, though. We've taught you well.
I'm on board. I'm 90s.
Yeah, we've taught you well.
If it's a giant corporate lawn care company, because there's some of them out there.
I don't give that. I give that. That's no.
Because then.
I want independent, the lawn ranger hired
Right.
Sally.
Oh, that's sexual harassment. Crazy.
Yeah, that's probably why you don't see
Yeah,
it.
Well, then why don't you say lunchman?
That one I can't tell you.
I think maybe there's just a career that men don't.
I'll tell you right
gravitate
now,
to,
Tom
or-
Van, I would be an amazing lunchman.
I know.
I'm
yeah.
little. I'm approachable. I like to talk. All the
can do
kids would love
voices,
me. I
yeah.
do voices. I got the tattoos. All the kids, oh, he's cool lunchman.
Yeah.
All you guys would be talking mad ass about me though if I was lunchman. I know
You
you
gotta
would.
sneak me some of them snacks.
What do you want?
I don't know. What are they? I gotta find out what they
That
serve
cake.
nowadays.
I'm telling you, that cake. They used to make cake at DeLand Middle, and that cake was so sweet. The first bite, all your teeth would hurt. You'd be like,
cake.
This is like straight sugar. This going on the topic of Lunchmen, it's the hot. We're gonna find one, and we're gonna interview him here. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna happen because this is all over the place.
Hey guys, I also went to the same school as Kramer and Sharton Randy, or whatever his name is, and I can confirm that we did have a giant black sassy lunchman that did go to our school or served at our school.
This guy's legendary. The sassy black lunchman.
Did we determine whether that was high school or elementary?
It was high school, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why we're
Okay,
saying
okay,
he
okay.
doesn't
Yeah,
count. Because Tom is still on the quest for an elementary school lunchman. White, black, any nationality, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This
yeah.
guy just happens to be the only one, and they're saying he was like funny, sassy. You know,
But high school
he
doesn't
also
count.
worked as a tollman. We learned that on the Friday
Oh
Free
yeah, that's
Show.
right. Yeah.
This guy's legendary. Hey, I'll talk to him because maybe we can ask him. Like, have you as a lunchman ever?
Seen other lunchmen?
Yeah.
Yeah. I still think that I put it on my list of dream jobs. Like when I get old, I just
Sure.
don't. I just don't think they'd let me do
Yeah.
it. My dad was a school bus driver. It was his favorite job because he loved interacting with the kids. He thought it was super fun. Favorite job he ever had.
If you're a school bus driver, like, do you use GPS or do you memorize?
You know your route.
Okay, yeah. But when you first start, maybe use GPS to find.
I mean, I guess you could now, but think about back in the day when you rode the bus. Nobody had GPS.
Let me ask you this.
No.
Okay, and I know we got
Our bus didn't even have a CB that worked. If we got into trouble, she had to like
We
get
didn't
on.
have seatbelts. We didn't have air
she-
conditioning.
She's like flagging down a cop car.
So we've got a lot of UPS and FedEx drivers and stuff to
Yeah.
listen. So when I have no idea, but when they show up and like they have people load, some of them load their own trucks or whatever. But is there a computer GPS program that FedEx and UPS uses that like plots out the fastest route for all
to
your
hit
delivery?
all of their deliveries?
Yeah, but like
I don't know.
I
I'm
always
sure
thought that
there
they
is,
had
right?
to do that. Like I know just from talking to Andrea's mom, who was a
computer does it
letter
now.
carrier.
Yeah.
She had to kind of know. Like she'd get
You
her
have to know your
stuff and then
routes.
she'd get it organized.
But
and
that's
it'd
the
be
same route every day
Right.
or every time. But I'm saying like if you have all these, say you have 100.
You don't know where you're gonna go. Yeah,
Yeah,
because whichever packages you get.
So
that
the
day.
computer does that, and then you just follow the GPS, and it.
I would assume so.
Yeah,
Oh, that sounds glorious.
Because it plots out, because you don't want it up to the driver because he's going to do it inefficiently and be all over the place and take like
I love
hours
jobs
longer.
like that. I'm not saying it's not a hard job. It's a damn hard job. But I love jobs where you see the beginning and you see the end. There's something.
My husband used to do something similar where he used to work for a realtor back in the day where he would go and take
the
pictures
signs
of their
or no?
property and put signs out and stuff, and he would get a list of like 30 a day, and he would have to map it out himself
I had a buddy that did
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same
to figure
job.
out which
It's
was
pre-
the most efficient
yeah,
way.
Yeah, he would do all the yard signs and then
Yeah.
also take pictures in lock boxes.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be a thing where one of the hardest tests.
But he was printing out map quests.
yeah,
You're talking about the knowledge.
the knowledge from like a traditional British cabbie would have to like pass.
It's called a
this-
lorry, I think.
And now the computer, the GPS can do everything for you,
Yeah.
and like it comes up and it just literally tells you where to go.
From our Twitch chat room, yes, they had software that plotted the route.
Okay, yeah. So
But you're going to have some.
But I'm sure that's fairly new, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I think he probably.
within the past 10 years, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the past 10 years. But I bet you there's a lot of things where they get it wrong.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
not perfect, so
yeah.
they'd have to know some knowledge of
Have you guys noticed that,
Town.
I don't know if this is an age thing and that my reflexes are just getting, less and less snappy.
Yeah.
But I feel like GPS, 10 years ago to GPS now is not as good because, I'll be in the car. This happens all the time with me. This is what makes me feel like I'm stupid or I'm dying in my brain.
Yeah.
Because I'll be driving and it'll be like, make a right in 0.25 miles. And I'm like, all right. And I'll look over to,
Make
you
a left.
And it's like,
Yeah.
you passed your A. I'm like, whoa, hold on a
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
Hold it. It feels like it
the
doesn't.
lag.
It just doesn't seem like they give me.
Well, there's
as-
more people using GPS. There's more construction going on. Yeah, it's definitely not as accurate as it used
I
to be.
miss I'm all like, no matter what, like I have some errands to run later today. No matter what, I'm going to miss a couple turns. I bank
same.
for it now.
Butler, get in here. I want to ask you a question. Okay, all three of you guys. Okay, Daniel, you grew up in DeLand.
I did.
Samantha, you grew up in Taft?
Yeah.
Okay. And then where'd you grow up, Butler?
Southeast Virginia.
Okay. So, and I grew up in Miami. So in Miami,
Butler's hair looks good as hell today.
the city is, everything's set up like a grid and like traditional, like there's streets, there's courts, and roads and all that. So
Right.
Avenues.
you can find an
Boulevards.
address. Like when I was in high school, someone can just give you the address, and then that's all the information you need. And then you can be like, all right, well, I have to go up 10 streets and over. Everything was a grid. So all you needed was the physical address, and you could find everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just by math. So when I moved to Orlando in 2000,
No, you're
every
screwed.
street name was, the Red Bugs and Colonial.
There's multiple of the same name.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they stop and then they
Start
pick
again on-
back
yeah,
up
yeah.
later.
So, and I remember being ultra confused because and luckily it was like the beginning of MapQuest, so MapQuest would do it. But even at the time, everybody from Miami that was up here, where we're like,
Where the hell are we?
Well, we also say, how did people navigate this place before MapQuest? Because
MapQuest.
that's my new,
Awesome.
that's my new business. By
I
the way.
love that.
I'm in on
MapQuest.
that one.
But
you know what's better than both of those? Was Sigourney Weaver and Galaxy Quest. Wowie.
So
hot.
The only thing we came up with is I was like, well, they must have before MapQuest. Someone would have to literally tell you directions from street to street to how to get to places. That would be the only way, right?
Savage in our Twitch chat room kind of took how I was always a landmark guy.
Take a left at the
Yeah.
big
But
church.
Yeah, take a right at the
You got
Burger King.
a
go
large
down.
fold-out map, and you had to sit there and plan it out.
Like a road atlas.
Yeah, like a road atlas, yeah.
But
See, Taft was set up like Miami. It's all streets, and they're all
Gridded
street
out?
and Ave,
Okay.
and that's
so
pretty
you could
much
find
it.
everywhere just
and
with
it's
the
a
address.
tiny town anyway, so yeah.
But what about you, Daniel? Like getting around DeLand or around Central Florida?
I was always landmarks.
But once I got out and tried to drive around Orlando, yeah, I had no clue.
I
I still
always
don't.
did landmarks.
But someone would have to tell you exact detailed
I would
directions.
tell people, I'd say, I'm not a street guy, give me landmarks, and they would, and then that's how I'd get around.
Okay. And
I
then-
even did that in Orlando. I'm real bad about
For
street
every
names.
address, right?
For
You-
everything.
And then you'd have to write down the list.
Like right now, if my wife tells me to do something, I'm like, just give me some landmarks. And she'll be like, well, you're going to go up here to Fresh Market and make a right. I'm like, all right.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Well, now it's like you just put it in the phone.
Yeah, but I mean, like, even if I'm going, like, I always did landmarks over street names because for whatever reason, street names, like,
Sometimes they're hard to see.
Yeah, like,
and-
you're like pulling out and then something's like a bush is in front of it.
Right.
And like, I was just like, the landmarks will be easier for me to see. And I guess I used it as a crutch for 44 years.
Well, yeah.
Or at least 30.
What about you, Butler? Like, did you have to go, like, growing up or like high school, pre-internet, did someone have to give you just a list of directions every time you went somewhere?
Well, kind of like, but you would just know the general area. So we would have like Hydenwood or Menchville or these different areas. So you kind of knew generally where you're going. Then you could kind of figure it out, from there. But I drove in high school. I drove from Virginia all the way to Vermont with MapQuest directions and lost the MapQuest halfway through that.
Of course he did.
So we,
What'd you do?
Yeah,
well, it extended the trip about 4 hours because you get lost everywhere you go.
Yeah, because me and Crystal were talking about like, okay, pre-MapQuest, like, people had maps and things like that. I remember the guy I repoed with, he had this book that was like a map of Central Florida, and then it would fold out and literally,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
would,
Road atlas.
like
The size of your car.
Yeah, but they keep opening. I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about.
But
yeah.
it would be like you go to this page, and like he knew how to navigate this book, and then he's like, "This is the only way to find." There's a pre-GPS or whatever. So like those things, and just
No.
directions, and then if you lost the directions, what was your recourse that you had to call?
Oh, yeah, like this guy, like
Or
Brock.
stop at the gas station.
Okay.
and ask.
Gas station, yeah.
Yeah, gas station
Stop and ask
always.
for directions.
Brock in our
Seems like
Twitch
ridiculous.
chat room, he says, I got lost the first time I came to Tampa when I was 16. I had to call my mom to MapQuest it for me and then talk me through it.
No.
I would do that. I remember calling my mom and dad, and if I happened to get my dad, I'd be like, put mom on the phone. what do you need? Your mom's busy. I'm like, put mom on the phone. I need MapQuest. Map what? I don't know how to use the computer. Hold on. And he'd go and get mom. And then put mom on the phone, and then mom would go there, and I'd be sitting in some parking lot smoking a cigarette, waiting for her to talk me the directions in to find some tattoo parlor in St. Augustine.
I remember having
something like that.
People having to stay on the phone and then talk me through, like, I'm coming up to, like, Virginia. Like,
And then you
like,
do that move. You do that move where you'd be like, all right, and take a left. Okay, I see you now. Do you see me? I see you now. Do you see me?
Yeah.
I'm waving to you. Hold on, I'll walk right.
I got a flashlight.
Yeah.
I know this has just turned into old man talk about old directions.
Yeah.
It just it blew my mind. I was like, well, how? It seems ridiculous if you don't set your city up like a grid and it's just a bunch of street names, rando. They're like, well, how did anybody find anything? With like, and if you were out of town or like someone said like, hey, here's my address, like. Colton Drive, my old address. Like
people used maps,
I know.
old school paper maps.
Weird.
Yeah.
I mean, like the Twitch chat room is basically saying that confirming what happened to Butler has happened multiple times where it's like you print out. I think this happened to me one time going to the beach. You print out your MapQuest, your windows are down, you set them on the seat, they blow out the window. I mean, that must have happened thousands of times.
Wet, destroyed, sat on, whatever. Something happens to a page. The most important page is gone.
Yeah.
You know how to get home like halfway. But
you got water all down the ink. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And I didn't do it right. Like they had a printing option where it's just like print out only direction. I'd print out whatever, print out like the ads in the first, and then the copy.
It was like 1,000 ads for like some like for Claritin.
Yeah. Then it was one blank page with a tiny copyright on the bottom. I was like, God damn it! And I do it every time. And then Crystal would be like, "Why'd you print out the goddamn ads in the front Google search page?"
All the ink. All the ink.
I used to do that too
pages.
until my wife was like, "You could go in and pick which pages you want." I was like,
What?
"What?"
Or they like, "There's a feature where it's like directions only." Puts them all on one page. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it blew my mind.
I still didn't learn though.
My wife told me last night that you could watch people live on the Peloton. I was like, what?
Ew.
She's like, you can tap on them and see what they're riding at the time.
Oh, I thought you meant like you peek in and see their camera.
No,
like,
no. I don't want people seeing that.
Oh, God.
Like, so you could watch people's like
their stats.
Their
You can see what they're
stats.
doing. I don't want people
Okay.
seeing that. Normally I get on there for a 45-minute ride.
Can you see anybody's?
Yeah, you can see about everybody's.
So can I just go watch your stats, bro?
Yeah. You want to watch my stats, bro?
Weird.
Like, can I just pop in and be like, let's see what how fast Daniel's riding, and then like
and then you
bully
can text me. You're gonna be like, you're not going fast enough, you big fat turd.
That's can you block that? So
I don't think so. No, I mean you can.
it's like
I'm sure you
open-
could disable sharing
It's not a
content.
feature I would like.
You could deny any friend requests and literally just ride alone.
Could you? Okay, you know how the old watch winder.
We gotta go!
Oh, welcome back to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, do you have any emails
Sure.
by chance? Let's not neglect the people that can actually read and write. They're
Oh.
important.
We talked about this a couple segments back. Female lawn care.
Yes.
I was listening to the OG show again with my wife and realized I forgot to tell what? I forgot to let y'all know. We got a female non-lesbian that works for us on our lawn crew. Great worker versus a lot of the guys we have tried. Works hard, great attention to detail, and never complains.
I've heard that.
10+ hours a day in the heat or rain, whatever, no problem.
Yeah, women don't complain as much. We've been through this. Women are like look at women's sports. Look at when they get a bad call. They're not going to get up in the ref's face, maybe for a split second, but normally they just let it go and they accept their fate.
I do agree 100%, except if you're married to me.
Right.
Well,
right.
Then it's you complain more than I've ever heard anybody
Yeah.
complain in my entire
And that's
life.
fair, because that's just, you know,
It
takes on a
I may have
different-
something to do with that.
maybe.
In my mind, I don't. but
Right.
It's unwarranted in my mind.
Who would be the best lawn care person on our team here?
the chopper.
Oh yeah,
I
the
think so,
chopper.
too.
A lot. There's a lot of
Naturally.
lawn choppers.
He'd probably mess up people's yards because he'd
Yeah.
chop too much, but
He doesn't have like he's not gonna edge well.
Oh!
Get in here, chopper.
Chopper's talking trash.
How do you chop the lawn? Like,
Now you pissed him off.
because I will admit I'm a horrible lawn guy.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I'm really good at it.
I am meticulous. I have like old man lines in my
Yeah.
yard. I have multiple tools to do the
I
edging.
wasn't gonna bust him out, but I've seen some photos of the lines he cuts in his grass, and there's no way you can do what he does.
Jen gets mad. She'll cut the grass, and I have to recut it to get the better lines.
Yeah, he cuts it like Liverpool's soccer pitch. Like it's like perfect lines.
I've had I remember I moved into a rental house and it had like an edger, one of those old school big. It looked like a pressure washer with a metal death machine on the side.
My dad used to have one of those.
Yeah. Like this thing was.
You'd bring it down and go, it would hit the.
You bring down the death saw, like it'd hit the side of the
sidewalk,
and
shrapnel.
Yeah, because it would make this noise. It'd be like,
this is this is too much. It doesn't need to be like this. Like this thing could till like some hardcore.
If you picked
soil.
it up, I mean, it's one of those zombie weapons.
I don't know that mine. You couldn't even pick up. Like it
had wheels.
It had wheels, and it looked like a pressure washer, just with a blade on one side that you
one.
push down. And I never used it. I just took my weed eater.
My dad would never let me use it. He said it was too dangerous.
Yeah.
Well, they streamlined it now. Now mine's electric, but it does the same thing. It's got a big old blade on it that does it.
So I was always like, good enough. And then I take the weed eater, and then I edge with the weed eater, but I'd never attention to detail. Like I'd spray my clippings into the road.
Would you use your weed eater, and would you get down, like if you were trimming around, let's say a solar light? Are you gonna burn the grass down, edge it around the light low?
No. I'm lazy. The whatever it takes to get the job done, I'd leave. Like it looked.
So it would be high around.
I take no pride in my work.
Okay, fair enough. All right, that's good.
Yeah. I'm always like, it's fine.
You gonna clear the yard before you start mowing?
Yeah.
You gonna walk the yard to make sure there's no debris?
No. Immediately
just run everything
Run
over.
your hose over. There's hose parts flying everywhere. Yeah.
I catch like a Wendy's cup, and it'd be like,
A Wendy's cup.
Yeah, then there's trash all over. He
Yeah.
just leaves it and just lets it just become.
No, I'd mow over it until it was so
becomes
fine.
Okay.
Biggy yellow cup dust.
Yeah, I just keep mowing the trash.
More dust for your house.
Until the trash particles were so small they disappear.
Eventually,
in
it
the
just
trash.
looks like the world's saddest confetti.
Yeah, I'm like rain will get that. Yeah. I'd mow over ant piles, spray those.
Ants all
over your
wife's
legs.
feet.
That hurts. My grass would be so long that it would clump up in the.
You cut it wet too. Got to cut it wet.
There was a trap that the grass would force out of.
Use
but
a bungee cord to pull that up.
but it would build up to the point where the blade was like,
What's slipping?
And then one blob of round, wet.
You got to lift it up and let it kick out.
No, you got to put a bungee cord to hold it up like my dad does. It's dangerous.
No, don't do that.
Exposed blade. Yeah,
I just do the bungee cord
you're
every
my
time.
dad.
I just rip that part
Somewhere
off.
in heaven, if you believe in that, my dad goes, God damn it, Tommy's the good one. I hate my midget son. I know he's saying that.
You know what?
You are my dad. You're my dad.
And then things would be shooting out of there every once in a while. Like something would hit my sunglasses, and then I'd be like, "That was close."
Sunglasses. The only two things my dad wore, three things on his lawnmower were Tiny Dukes, gold necklace, Rolex. That's it.
I want to be that.
No sunscreen.
I want to get a Rolex, just a
mowing Rolex.
He had tiny. What's right here? There's my dad's yard Rolex right there. My dad would take up his real Rolex. He'd put on his Molex. That's fantastic. Double pizza party. He'd put on his fake Rolex and he'd mow the grass with a chain on.
Yeah.
Chest hair, chain, Rolex, Tiny Dukes, mower.
And so,
That's
Travis and Samantha are the only people that mow their yard now.
I could see Travis out there in Tiny Dukes with some chest hair blazing.
Who is a better?
You can do a mow off?
Between
Boy,
Samantha?
we've gotten real boring if we do the old Tom and Dan yard off.
Well, one to Hundo P. Butler, because I don't do lines in my yard, and I don't do the edging and the blowing. I leave that to Jay
Hold
Leno.
on, that's creative. So we could build it a competition.
Is it fastest? Is it?
Oh, what if you had
Well, let's talk
Samantha
about it.
and Travis mow Travis's yard, and then Travis
Yard swap.
Yard swap.
Dude, yard swap's hilarious. It's like wife swap, but not as good.
Yeah, then we'll send 360 to film it.
Yeah.
And then
And who's the judge?
well,
Remy, Tony Palmiotti, John the Alarm Guy, and pedophile Chris.
God damn it.
We're bringing him back for yard swap. We won't get that much heat for a judge for yard swap.
Because nobody's watching it.
We got a little heat. Well, we had to tone off pedophile Chris. Oh, apparently people didn't
Sorry,
think...
only 3 judges.
You didn't think pedophilia was funny? I'm sorry. Oh, too sensitive. Stop talking to that guy.
It's all in the news. It's relevant right now.
Yeah. You know... If he's going to go after anybody, it'll be our kids. Don't worry about it.
They're not
Jesus.
there. He don't like us.
Well,
Well, that
see
is.
how that,
Oh, no. Guess what?
we got to get out of here.
Oh, we got to go.
Oh, God.